They're going to name schools after him. Matthew in Charleston, South Carolina. Bucky's got some good advice for you.
I'm with Buck on the no ties. The most I'll ever do these days is call it the Charleston tuxedo. It's a pair of khakis, a button-down shirt, leave the top button or two unbuttoned, and a blazer jacket. That's all. I won't go more than that anymore.
I agree. I don't put on a tie unless I'm really being made to, and that's a tough thing to do. The president. I wear a tie when we see the president, Clay. That's pretty much where I draw the line.
I do wonder if we're going to have a president soon who just gives up on the tie. It's not going to be Trump. Is that possible? I don't know. We'll be back with you tomorrow. See ya.
Speaking truth and having fun. Clay Travis and Buck Sexton.
Hey, it's Tug, and this is Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra 106.3 app.
We've been endorsing Pure Talk since day one of our program. We wanted to work with a wireless company that shares our values. Pure Talk is veteran-led, and helping veterans is their North Star. They've donated over $500,000 to America's Warrior Partnership, an organization on the front lines of preventing veteran suicide.
Pure Talk creates American jobs by building a customer service team that's 100% based in the U.S. They're committed to delivering the best experience possible for their customers.
And yes, we really rely on Pure Talk service. They utilize the same towers, the same network, same 5G coverage as one of the big wireless companies, but for a fraction of the price.
We choose to do business with a company who shares our values, supporting veterans every single day and creating American jobs. How about you? Switch to Pure Talk. Dial pound 250 and say Clay and Buck to switch to Pure Talk today. That's pound 250. Say Clay and Buck to switch to America's wireless company, Pure Talk.
Spring cleaning is upon us, but there's one meaningful box that you don't throw away when cleaning out your closet. It's the box filled with your family's important videotapes, film reels, and photos. Hi, I'm Adam Baselogger.
And I'm Nick Mako. We started Legacy Box over a decade ago to help families organize and update their analog media to digital.
Legacy Box is simple and easy. It works and is safe. Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box.
And Legacy Box has been featured in Good Housekeeping, The Today Show, and Rachel Ray.
Legacy Box is like magic, converting your shoebox of memories to the cloud or thumb drive, ready to watch and share.
Declutter your closet by digitizing your media. Become more organized and accomplished, knowing your family's recorded past is safe forever. Take advantage of our spring cleaning sale going on now. It's the easiest task to check off your to-do list.
For a limited time, you can get started for just $9 a tape. Visit legacybox.com/Clay and Buck to get our $9 sale. That's legacybox.com/Clay and Buck to get our $9 offer. Legacybox.com/Clay and Buck.
Pay to play, sweetheart deals, government land grabs, and a rigged gambling law. Corrupt career politician Burt Jones made a fortune in public office. But it gets worse. Now Jones is in the tank for illegal Chinese vapes. They're poisonous, they're addicting our kids, and President Trump issued a national order to ban them. But just like a career politician, Burt Jones ignored Trump's order and blocked legislation to stop the sale of illegal Chinese vape pens in Georgia. That's right, Jones ignored Trump and blocked the legislation to ban them right here in Georgia. Why? Because the Jones family is making big bucks selling the same deadly addictive Chinese vapes Trump banned in their gas stations. Corrupt career politician Burt Jones. He sold out Georgia for Chinese vapes.
Paid for by Jackson for Governor, Inc.
This is WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. Locally owned and heard throughout Georgia on the Extra app.
The commander-in-chief has something to say. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. President Trump will address the nation tonight about Iran, hours after posting that Iran's president is asking for a ceasefire, a reported denial from Iran's foreign ministry.
Meantime, ahead of the president's speech tonight, officials have been making the case that the finish line is in sight. The U.S. is very close to achieving the objectives President Trump laid out at the start of the war, which include destroying Iran's Navy, Air Force, missile launchers, and defense industrial base. But importantly, Iran is still refusing refusing, they say, to hand over its stockpile of enriched uranium.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House. During one interview today, the president telling The Telegraph he's considering pulling the U.S. out of NATO. The U.K. is now working to rally multiple nations for collective action to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, planning a virtual summit tomorrow. Arguments before the U.S. Supreme Court on the president's effort to end birthright citizenship, focusing mainly on what courts and Congress have done in the past. So-called birth tourism raised as an abuse of automatic citizenship. Solicitor General John Sauer telling Chief Justice John Roberts.
A new world now, as Justice Alito pointed out to, where 8 billion people are one plane ride away from having a child who's a U.S. citizen.
Well, it's a new world. It's the same Constitution.
Many justices appearing skeptical of the argument that the 14th Amendment has been misinterpreted. The crew of Artemis 2 now on the launch pad for the first human trip to the moon in more than 50 years. They're scheduled to slingshot around the far side of the moon as part of a 10-day mission, their Orion capsule on an SLS rocket.
Space Launch System flew a test flight, Artemis 1 mission. It was an uncrewed mission back in November of 2022. The flight was successful, but today is going to be the first time that you have humans riding on the tip of that spear.
Fox's Jonathan Seri at the Kennedy Space Center. America is listening to Fox News.
Now, this 25th anniversary of 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation remains committed to honoring the heroes shaped by that day. Heroes like NYPD Detective Victor Vargas, a U.S. Air Force veteran who died from pancreatic cancer after serving in the World Trade Center recovery efforts. Tunnel to Towers honored Detective Vargas by paying off the family's mortgage. You can donate $11 a month, and you can amplify your impact with a car or land donation. Go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-809-7171. That's 800-809-7171.
Ole, 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 ole.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, peoples, mi gente, all across this wonderful, wonderful fruited plain. Thank you and welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, the Kimmer is on a much needed, or much deserved, I should say, vacation, maybe both. So hopefully he's enjoying some golf courses. He's enjoying some beach time. Hopefully he's knee deep or maybe waist deep in some ocean somewhere. I don't know, but I'm sure he's enjoying the time. Welcome, folks. We've got a lot to get to today. I am Victor Armandiaz. My opening music there, if you're not familiar with it, I mean, I don't know, maybe you live under a rock, but that is the most popular song you'll hear at a soccer stadium ever, and you'll hear the fans chant that all the time. And since I'm all about soccer. I don't know if you guys heard the news. If you're soccer fans, Italy is out for the third World Cup in a row. Italy is out, and I'm sorry, folks. That just blows my mind. It's one of the best soccer nations on the planet. Is the country of Israel. Some of the best soccer players, and they didn't even make they did not make the World Cup. It's crazy. It's crazy. But you know who did? You know who's going to be in the World Cup for the first time in 40 years? Iraq. So thank you, George Bush. That'll get some people mad. No, but they really are. And that's not an April Fool's. So welcome to April Fool's Day, by the way. April 1st. I don't know how many of you are doing pranks today. I'm not answering my phone because I know better. I know what today means. And I was half expecting to come in the studio today and the door be locked because it's just that kind of day. I won't do that to you folks. I was going to announce today that Donald Trump switched back to the Democrat Party and Fetterman switched to the Republican Party. That was going to be my April Fool's, but you guys would have known better. The funny thing is, I joke about Fetterman because He's right now the only sensible Democrat that seems to be in Washington, although I tell you to be careful about trusting Fetterman because he still votes until I see him voting different. You can say what you want, but as the saying goes, actions speak way louder than words. And so until I see Fetterman pulling the lever on other things, now look, it's great that he votes with the Republicans to pay TSA, and he voted to keep the government open. So kudos for that. But I need to see him stop going with them on woke agenda. I need to see Fetterman step away from the Democrats with this, any of that woke mess. And I want to see Fetterman stand up for freedom. I want to see Fetterman stand up for lower taxes and things like that. But I mentioned that because I did see a story. Now, I don't know how true this is, but there are stories floating around that Fetterman may be considering leaving the Democrat Party, switching to an independent. And we all know what that means. When a Democrat switches to the independent, that just means that they're placating to a base they think they have to get reelected under an independent brand, but they still caucus with the Democrats. Although, it's a rumor out there that Fetterman's thinking about, and apparently what he said is, as an independent, he'll go with whichever side is the side he's agrees with. Or, I'm not sure how they're wording or how he's wording it, but it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I'd love to see him do it. I think that would be fantastic if he really doesn't, and if he really would. I'd rather see somebody like Fetterman, who, if he were to switch and call himself an independent, vote. Whatever. There's going to be certain things he'll vote with the Democrats, but if he actually came over and voted for growth policies, if he actually stood on the Republican side every now and then and voted for lower taxes, smaller government, smaller spending, cut spending, things like that, that'd be pretty impressive. I'd support the guy. So it'll be neat to see. But welcome, folks. Extra 106.3, Extra 106.3. I am Victor Armandiaz, your Mexican, not afraid to be American. If you want to find out more about me, and you listeners have been awesome. I've been hearing from some of you guys for the past couple of days, and it's just awesome. You guys humble me every day. You really do. I had a listener, I don't even remember what I said, but I think it was Monday's show. I must have said something that struck a chord with this listener, but apparently it made them look in the mirror and reevaluate the way they were living their lives, and they're going to be better for it. This is what they're telling me, and they got that just from listening to the show. So I appreciate that listener having the humbleness to tell me that. So because it humbles me. That's amazing. If I can get through anybody and help them not be so angry, don't be a Democrat. The best thing you can do today, if you want to wake up tomorrow and start a better life for yourself, then make the decision tonight to walk away from the Democrat Party, from today's Democrat Party. Make the decision to walk away from them, and tomorrow morning you're going to wake up a happier person. And if you, I'll go one further. If you walk away from today's Democrat Party, if you turn off social media, now I'm not saying you can't check in and check on your people that you follow or your friends, but step away from social media. Don't dive in it so much every day. Limit yourself 10 minutes at a time, or for a total of an hour a day or something like that. Limit yourself. And your life, you're going to watch your life start to get better and better and better. And every night you go to bed, do something that makes you happy. Do something that puts a smile on your face. Whether it's meditating, whatever it has to be, pray, whatever you need to do. You do something that's wholesome for your soul, and you go to bed with a smile on your face. And when you'll wake up with a smile on your face. And if you wake up and you don't, then you look in the mirror and you've discussed it with yourself. That sounds crazy, but I'm serious. You are in control of how you feel. No one else. No one else. It doesn't matter what people can say whatever they want to you. If you have the power, if you realize, well, let me put it this way. When you realize you have the power to how you feel, then you're going to be much better. But all right, I won't go down that road anymore. Folks, I I'm excited today. I'm so excited, and I'll do the same thing I did yesterday. I'll try to take as many calls as I can. So 404-741-1230. If you want to be a part of this here show and you want to talk to the Mexican, not afraid to be Americano, please give me a call. 404-741-1230. I'll take as many calls as I can today, and I'm so excited today because of Artemis. Ladies and gentlemen, I am a science fiction nut. Yes, I'm a Star Trek guy. Yes, I'm a Star Wars guy, and I'm an absolute Orville guy. If you've never seen the Orville, but ladies and gentlemen, the Artemis, what's happening today, you need to be excited. Please don't fall trap you're going to hear probably from the left, oh, we're wasting money. And then you might hear this from the far right too. Oh, the money's being wasted on this space exploration, blah, blah, blah. No, that is the wrong way to look at it, folks. Let me put it to you this way. If you took all the money that they're spending on the space exploration, which who knows what we're going to find, who knows what it'll lead to. There's so much, space is so vast. There's just so much that's out there to find. And are we going to find a UFO? No, I don't believe that mess. But you just never know what we're going to find and what we're going to achieve and what technology we're going to stumble upon because of the technology we're having to perfect to do what we're doing by slingshotting around the moon. It's just amazing what we're doing. And you should be excited about it. But if you're one of those that are like, well, Victor, we're wasting money. I think of the money we could spend elsewhere. Well, let me tell you this. You could take all that money and give it to the government, and they're going to go waste it, at least with the space exploration with Space Force and with NASA. At least there's technology and good advancements that come out of it. If you take that money and give it to the government, do you think they're going to spend it on your health care? You think they're going to spend it on poverty? Because they've been doing that for years and years and hoaxing you into going along with more tax hikes. And all they do is waste the money. And then what do? When they can't take enough money from we the people fast enough, they go print it. And when they print, what do you think is going to happen? Inflation. Because the only entity that can create inflation is your government. So if you try to take money away from NASA because you think you're going to make yourself feel better by giving it to a bunch of bureaucrats, and you think they're going to actually spend that money wisely, they've yet to spend money wisely. Look at what Obama and the Democrats did. They've literally destroyed our healthcare system. Now I will say this: we still have a great healthcare system because we're semi-private, but they're working hard to destroy it. And Obamacare was designed to take down private healthcare, and I can get into that later and explain that to you if you want. But just trust me. If your faith is in government spending money, then you have no proof to me that's a risk worth taking. But by giving money and doing what NASA's doing, what Artemis is doing, holy cow, folks, it's amazing. It's amazing. So, my goodness, I'll tell you, man, this radio goes by so fast. We're gonna get back after this break, and folks, I'm gonna talk a little bit more about Artemis and why it's so important. Don't go anywhere.
You've been warned. If the Dems win the midterms, the border opens back up. Impeachment comes down, and you get more riots in the streets. Now's the time to hunker down and vote red. Count on Extra 106.3 to bring you the stories that matter from the most trusted voices in the country. Proud to be Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station. Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
April fun continues as the Braves roll into the second homestand of the season, April 10th through the 12th, when the Cleveland Guardians come to town. The weekend is packed full of fun, including 80s night on Friday the 10th. Fans can look forward to an 80s prom and arcade games at the Blue Moon Beer Garden, live music from the 80s, and much more. Plus, the first 15,000 fans will receive a Dale Murphy replica jersey presented by Truist. Visit Braves.com/promos to see all the details. The homestand continues with the Miami Marlins April 13th through the 15th. The series is a part of the Braves Spring Value Games, where you can get $10 tickets and parking, deals on ballpark favorites like $2.50 hot dogs and $3.99 Miller High Lifes. Plus, big deals on merchandise at the Braves Clubhouse store. Bring your crew to experience unbeatable value. Find the details at braves.com/value. Atlanta Braves Baseball. We are Braves Country.
For a lot of drivers, the question isn't, should I buy a Toyota? It's, where should I buy it? Because the dealership matters long after the paperwork is signed. My good friends at Marietta Toyota, well, they built their reputation the right way. Trust, consistency, and of course, most importantly, taking care of the neighbors and customers for over 50 years, proudly serving the Marietta area since 1975. You get real selection, straightforward answers, and a team that respects your time. Here's the difference most dealerships don't include. Every new Toyota comes with our nationwide lifetime powertrain warranty. That's valid for unlimited time and unlimited mileage for as long as you own your Toyota. That's long-term confidence backed by Toyota quality and supported by a full team here after the sale with service and genuine Toyota parts on Cobb Parkway South. It's time for you to visit Marietta Toyota on Cobb Parkway South, about 3 miles north of Truist Park. Marietta Toyota. We've been here and we'll be here for you.
Nationwide lifetime powertrain warranty included with every new Toyota purchase. See dealer for coverage details, exclusions, and requirements.
Why does Progressive help support truckers? Because truckers unite the world. Truckers unite whistles and lifeguards. Truckers unite fitness devices with people who don't exercise. Truckers unite your aunt with those live, laugh, love signs. But truckers can't do any of this if they're not on the road. That's why Progressive helps safe truckers save an average of $6,181 when they elect to share their ELD data with us. Get a quote at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. 2025 National Average Safe Driver Enrollment Discount Savings for new Progressive customers excludes mandatory program participants. Not available in all states. Driving data could increase or decrease premiums at renewal.
You've worked hard to build your investments, but are they positioned the right way from a tax perspective? Because it's not just what you make, it's what you keep. Hi, I'm David Nicholas, president of Nicholas Wealth Management. Many investors don't realize that their portfolios may be creating unnecessary tax exposure. Capital gains, required minimum distributions, inefficient account placement can quietly reduce your returns, especially as you approach retirement. At Nicholas Wealth Management, we help clients evaluate whether their investments are structured in a tax-efficient way, looking beyond performance to understand how taxes impact income today and your legacy tomorrow. Are your assets in the right accounts? Are there opportunities to reduce further tax liability? Is your strategy aligned with your long-term retirement goals? Call Nicholas Wealth Management today, 678-990-8500. Schedule a complimentary review. That's 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com. Nicholas Wealth Management, helping you keep more of what you've worked so hard to build.
Nicholas Wealth Management is an independent financial services firm. This is for informational purposes only and is not specific investment advice.
Let's hope it's not unstable conditions. This is a good launch song. More great music from Rush. Actually, this would have been a great song for them to play. I wonder what the astronauts listen to when they are blasting off into space, folks. I just want you to stop and think about it for a minute. I mean, it's just great. I mean, just the fact that they're suited up, sitting at the tip of a hydrogen bomb. I mean, think about it, folks. They started early this morning filling those tanks with liquid cool hydrogen. I think really cold hydrogen and oxygen, of course. And boy, I need a space freak to call me a space nerd. Are there any space nerds out there that can call the show and tell me what the fuel mixture is? I'm pretty sure there's a lot of hydrogen and a lot of oxygen. And if I'm not wrong, I think it's super cooled hydrogen. Maybe it's nitrogen. It wouldn't be nitrogen. I'm pretty sure it's hydrogen, oxygen, and maybe I'm missing something. But if there's a space nerd that wants to call and so I can get this right, hey, please do. But my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to think about it. I mean, it's a massive rocket, and on the tip of it sits 4 people. And they're in these awesome uniforms. You know, these uniforms they're in, I guess you call it a uniform, spacesuit, whatever. These things are designed, these suits are designed to carry, I don't know how many days of oxygen, emergency oxygen. This is emergency oxygen. The suit mind you. The suit has emergency oxygen and I believe a several days of food and water in the suit. I mean, think about that. You're wearing your life source in case, if something were to go wrong and there was a breach or decompression, I guess, or something like that. Their suit would keep them alive until they could get back. I mean, it's truly incredible. And this is what I'm talking about. If there wasn't a space program, this kind of advancement just wouldn't happen. A suit that is a life source. I mean, come on. I mean, it's really, really cool just to think about what's about to take place. And the launch window, I believe, they have like a 2-hour launch window. I think their goal is this evening at 6 something to take off. But what's cool about this, ladies and gentlemen, it's been, 40 years or so since we went to the moon, or at least anything close to what we're doing now. We're putting 4 people into rockets and blasting them. Like I said, there's a bomb under their butts, and we're going to blast them up into space. And they're not just going up to space to orbit around a little bit or just break the plane and get into space. No, they're going to the moon. In fact, oh my goodness, I've got it somewhere how far they're actually going, and I don't have it here. Oh, yes, I do, I think. So the mission's going to take this crew 4,700 miles beyond the moon. All right? So this is what's so cool. They're going up there, and they're going to go past the moon. So imagine it. Anybody with a telescope, you maybe you've done this. You've gone out at night, and if you live up where I live in my, where my bunker is in the mountains, it's dark. There are no street lights. There's just no lights. I mean, when it gets dark, it gets dark. And you can take a telescope, you can go up and look. I'll tell you, you never realize how bright the moon is until you live up in the mountains, or like I do, where there's just no light around except natural light that comes from the moon. When the moon is out, when it's clear and that moon is out and it's shining, it's wild, folks, because it truly, truly illuminates the property. I mean, it's amazing. But you can get out your telescope and you can look, and you got to. And I want you to think about this. Every time you look at the moon or have looked at the moon, you're seeing one side. You're seeing one side. You don't see the dark side of the moon. You don't see the. I mean, it's fun to call it the dark side of the moon because that's what they do in the movies. But I think they call it, in scientific terms, I think it's the far side of the moon. But that back side of the moon faces expansive space. I mean, I believe it's outside the gravity of the sun. It's, that side of expansive space. It just baffles my mind to think about. And it's just going to be amazing because what these guys are doing, they're not going to the moon like we've done before. They're going past the moon. They're going 4,700 miles past the moon, and that what a thing. And then they're going to go around it and come back. And so, will they meet Optimus Prime? I don't know. Will they meet some of the Transformers? My goodness. Let's hope if they do. It's the, what were the good ones? The Cybertrons, and the bad ones were Decepticons. So let's hope they don't meet the Decepticons. But, I mean, it's just amazing, folks. Just the idea that, I know the song they should play. They should play Dark Side of the album, Dark Side of the Moon from Pink Floyd. Now, that I can picture the crew. I mean, they're going to the dark side of the moon. They're going around the moon, so they're going to the far side of the moon. So why not play a bunch? Well, I don't know. If they do that, they might all go on acid trips, and we don't need astronauts going on acid trips. Oh, my goodness. See how much fun space can be, folks? See how much fun it can be? I mean, if you grew up watching Star Trek, then it's fun to think about what would happen if we really could explore space. What would happen if we could really design an Enterprise spaceship? What would happen if we really could design an Orville? And if you guys don't know what I mean by the Orville, the last I saw that show, it was on Hulu. So if you have a chance to get Hulu, you need to watch the first 2 seasons of the Orville. And the Orville is a spiff of Star Trek. But in a very intelligent way. The writing for the first 2 seasons, the writing was great, the casting was great, the storylines are great. It's just and it's hilarious. It's a fun, funny scientific show. And it's called the Oriville, and look it up. You can watch excerpts on. I'll tell you one of my favorite. You can pull this up on YouTube and watch an excerpt. But there's at one point where they meet this planet, and I believe it's a planet of women that are subjugated, and they're not allowed to do anything. And now, look, the creator of Oriville is the guy that does the Family Guy. He's a left-wing moonbat, so you're going to have some left-wing stuff. I mean, you're going to have some left-wing undertones, but let that go. Enjoy the show. Okay. So don't get emotional about it or mad about it. Just go with the flow, and it's funny. But they go up on a planet, and it's women who are subjugated, and so he takes one of the women in the spaceship, and he's taking her. I believe he's taking her to Earth, and so he's teaching her about Earth while they're flying through space. And she says, "Well, gosh, on Earth, do women get to write?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, women write all kinds of stuff, man. They're all into art." And she goes, "Oh wow." And he goes, "Here, look up the art files here, or the history files of Earth, and you can learn while we're flying through space." And she hits a button, and Dolly Parton starts singing 9 to 5, and suddenly Dolly Parton becomes this alien woman's call to arms, and she says, "This will be the woman of our revolution," and it is just hilarious. So if little old Dolly Parton realized that and I'm sure she does, because they probably had to get permission to use her name and her music, but it's just that funny. It's that kind of a show. So that's called the Oriville. So in honor of the Armistice and what it's doing today and launching tonight, you should go watch that show. Orville is great, but what's great about what Artemis is doing and the fact that that we have the technology and we have the ability to load people into a pointed rocket, launch this thing up into the air, get into space, go past the moon. Folks, listen, the ambitions of getting to Mars, the ambition of putting people on Mars, that's a real ambition. That's going to happen. If Elon Musk, who I think might be an alien, I mean, I am not one of those that believes UFOs have been to this Earth. I'm not one that believes all that mess. I'm not saying there's no UFOs. I'm not saying there's not the chance there's a UFO. I just don't believe they've been here, because the technology it would take for a UFO to get here, and then you think they're just going to hide. I mean, that's just laugh. I don't know. I'm too much of a common sense and logical guy. So, I just don't buy all that mess. But I do think we have some high-tech discoveries that we've been working on that people think is alien technology. But anyway, that's a whole nother road to go down. But I think the government loves letting people think that, so that it keeps them off the real trail. But that's just me. But it's just great that we can do this, that we have the technology, we have the brain power. And when somebody like Elon Musk tells me that we're going to go to Mars, then by golly, I think that man will make it happen. I mean, he really is brilliant. I don't care about his politics. Listen, I liked Elon Musk when he was a left-wing Democrat, and I like Elon Musk when he's a Trump supporter. I really don't care what his politics are, because the guy's a genius. I am not, let's put it to you this way, I'm not a huge EV fan. I'm not going to, I like the technology, and if I got an EV, which I might one day, the thought of having a car in the mountain bunker that I could charge with the solar panels, that's not a bad idea. I mean, that's not a bad backup to have. So, but if I did get one, I'd get a Tesla. There's no doubt about it. I'd get a Tesla. But I'm not a big fan. I'm not running out to get an EV. I like gasoline engines too much. I like the sound of a V8 too much. I like the power of my V8 truck, and I don't want an EV truck. I just don't. So, but anyway, just because I'm not the biggest fan, and I'm not going to go run and buy an EV, doesn't mean I don't appreciate what Elon Musk has done. That man is absolutely brilliant. And the technology that's coming from, trust me, Tesla's not an EV company, folks. It's a I don't know, a new technology company is what it is. It's a robotics company. What's coming with Optimus, that robot that he's working on, I mean, this stuff is going to be, it's nothing short of absolute pure amazingness. And Flounder, you look like you got a comment.
Yes, I got a phone call from our good buddy Swatoon.
Swatoon, man, go ahead, man. The floor is yours.
Hey, I mean, talking about Elon Musk helping us to succeed, to go to Mars and stuff. Just don't forget about one thing. If the communism takes over, all the scientists are going to be rounded up and pretty much removed, especially the ones that did not support the, Communist Party.
Oh my gosh, you're so right, and I love it when callers like you, listeners like you, can talk, can speak to this. So I mean, because you're right. If the let's say Bernie Sanders types were to ever take over this country, and the AOC types, what do you think, Swatu? What do you think they would do to the space program?
Well, first of all, it would be like waste of money, like they say right now, and it would be need to go to the people, aka the government, and they would just make excuses. And once the scientists start saying like, "Hey, we need to do this," then they would be pretty much rounded up, re-educated, or just made vanish.
Wow, isn't that crazy, Swatoon? But look what's going on in communist China. They still have re-education camps. And the left doesn't talk about it today. Why do you think the left doesn't like talking about what really is happening in China right now?
Because there's too much money coming from China, and China has a huge influence here in the United States by paying up people that, FBI and probably CIA, they already know that. Like environmentalists, they are most likely the communist-funded organizations to keep America down in any sense of the science, success.
You are so right, and I'm so glad you mentioned that. I don't think enough people realize that the environmental program, when the environmental groups took off, when Moscow fell, when Gorbachev fell, and that kind of, when Reagan really won that Cold War for us, the communists, they had to go somewhere, and what they did was they went to the environmental movement, and exactly what you're saying, they're using that. China and communist Russia, communist China and I think even Russia, they fund these groups in this country to brainwash so many of our students.
Yeah, that's why the education is under attack, because the lower the IQ, the more possibility of convincing people about alien existence or whatever it's possible.
Now, Swati, you're going to make a lot of people upset because there's a lot of people that believe in aliens.
Yeah, I know. I believe they are, like you just said, they are out there maybe, but if they are, I don't know if they are really here.
Right.
Or if they are here and they saw us for how we are, they're like, we're not going to get with those animals.
And I can explain that with this, and you tell me if you agree. The reason I say that is because it would be very arrogant of me to think that there's not the possibility that there's some other life somewhere. But the idea that they've been here, I don't think people realize what it would take, what kind of technology and what it would mean to travel that many light years through space, so that distance and the time and it's just when you really think about it logically, I just don't see how it's possible that there's just no way that they visited Earth. I just don't believe it.
Well, there's also possibility, as we notice with our technology, our computers, everything else is getting smaller. So the future, any intelligence that's out there that's high, advanced, they might be going in the micro, because they might have a shrink race or something like that, and they're going micro because it's much more, the time travels, slower to it, so you can live actually longer, and all that other stuff.
Well, you know what? That's actually pretty neat because, you're right about that. We don't know and that's what I mean. The technology would have to be so advanced for them to have actually been here. So maybe you're right. So maybe at some point they're able to, it's just wild to think about that, Swati. But man, thank you for the call, dude. I really appreciate it.
I also want to say one thing.
Sure.
Just remember, God created Earth, and then God might have, He's creating a universe. He might have added more planets out there that's later on is going to be coming as a revolution, maybe like you guys say, it's like a coming of Jesus or whatever. That might say, hey, there's this people that was created by same God, and then we will find out that they have same religious books as we do.
Swatu, man, that is also, somebody ought to make a movie about what you just said, because I believe, I'm with you. I believe if there is something out there and God created it. He created the universe, he created Earth, and I just, if it is his creation. So that's a great way to think of it, and I would love to see Hollywood be brave enough to make a movie just kind of having fun with that one, because it would be neat to run into another group of people, of beings, and they have the same worship books and things. How wild would that be? Well, folks, I'm almost blowing by the break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Support the advertisers and partners that share your values. Give our extra advertisers the first shot to earn your business. They will deliver for you every time and support the extra community like no one else. Connect with all of our partners online at extra1063.com.
Atlanta Safe House, new location, Union Hill Road. Yeah, they moved, they're a showroom. They've got almost 200 of them up there in all shapes and sizes. I'm telling you, my first gun safe was a Browning, and they have more Browning and Fort Knox safes by brand in particular than any other state in the southeastern United States. It's incredible. And they have lots of different brands, and it depends what you're looking for. You don't pay any sales tax on gun safes at Atlanta Safe House. That's a savings right there. And because they've moved, they're celebrating their new location, and everybody's happy, and their people are getting safes because, the beginning of the new year, just start the year off right, protect your stuff. Especially, I found out the hard way when I went to Florida with no safe, and I lost my medical records. And so, again, you don't want that to happen. Also, your kids' living will, your financial records, real estate stuff, marriage and divorce papers, all that, photographs, papers, as well as your weapons and jewelry and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, all kinds of great sales going on all the time, and protecting your rights as well as your stuff. AtlantaSafeHouse.com.
It's tax refund season here in Georgia, and a lot of folks are deciding how to spend it. Let me suggest something practical, something you use every day, your air conditioning system. With an earlier and warmer projected spring, your air conditioner is about to start working real hard. If your system is older and inefficient, this might be a smart time to upgrade to a high-efficiency carrier system to save on your utilities. When you combine proven carrier technology with an experienced team like at Central Heating and Air Conditioning, you're investing in long-term comfort and efficiency. Right now, you can save up to $1,700 in rebates, plus 60 months 0% financing on qualified systems, making a new system more affordable than you might think. Before that refund disappears on something temporary, invest in comfort that lasts for years. Call 770-GET-HEAT or go to centralheat.com today. Central Heating and Air Conditioning, delivering carrier comfort for the world we share.
We're smart, we care. We're Central Heating and Air.
I'm Patrick Brown, former Army Ranger in the United States Army. Like many service members, I had to make difficult choices when leaving the military, and the most challenging thing was finding purpose in a new phase of life. Housing, employment, education, way too many decisions and no idea where to start. That was until I met the Warrior Alliance. They made it simple. They listened and quickly connected me to the services I needed. And like a trusted friend, they even followed up to make sure I was squared away. Change a veteran's life today by donating at thewarrioralliance.org, helping warriors navigate to success after service.
A golf instructor who knows technique can improve an aspiring pro's swing. But one who really cares can help transform a career.
There he is, your new champion.
When you team up with someone who knows a lot and cares even more, you're unstoppable. At Truist, we believe the same is true for banking. Truist, leaders in banking, unwavering in care. Truist Bank, member FDIC, leading based on top 10 U.S. commercial bank.
This is your afternoon wake-up song. It is Victor Armandiaz, your Mexican, not afraid to be American. Extra 106.3. Folks, make sure you get the app. Listen, a lot of you will contact me and go, man, Victor, I want to listen to the show again, or I want to tell my friends about it. And then they ask, well, how can they listen? It's so easy, ladies and gentlemen, so easy. Just get the Extra 106 app. You guys are mostly streaming stuff in your car anyway, so stream Extra 106.3. Get the app. You can go to the website too. It's XTRA1063.com, and you can find everything. You can find my show information about it, and Bortz and Kimmer and Tug and Low. So you can find all you want to know about us. Just go to the Extra website. And then you can visit Podcast Park. There's so much, and there's so much more. If you go to the Extra 106.3, if you go to Podcast Park, there's so much more there, and so many cool and awesome people to listen to. You can just stream and stream and stream. You don't have to worry about anything else. You don't have to pay for Amazon Music or Apple Music or, why pay for that stuff when you can just go here at Podcast Park and Extra 106 and stream. That's all you need to do. So, and I appreciate it. You listeners who are new and finding me here and finding Extra 106 for the first time, I definitely want to ask you to do me the biggest favor. Now that you have found Extra 106.3, please tell people about it. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, post it on social media. I know I joke about getting off of social media, but when you're on it, just do a couple of posts here and there and just say, hey, folks, I found Extra 106.3 and I love it and you should listen too. And we'd appreciate it, folks, here at 106. So thank you so much. So, okay, so the other good thing about something like the Artemis thing and talking about space exploration and how cool it is, it gets us away from politics a little bit, because that's the other thing, folks. If you let politics rule your day, then you're going to allow it to ruin your day, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. When it comes down to is you can be you got to be a vigilant voter and be an informed voter. That's what I ask of you. I will, like, for instance, tonight Donald Trump is going to address the nation, and I think this is going to be really good one tonight, and you should watch it. But if you don't want to watch it, you don't have to. I do it so you don't have to, and then I'll come in tomorrow with a very good analysis, I promise you, so you don't have to burden yourself. So if you've had a hard day today and you get home tonight and you want to relax and watch a comedy or something, do it. I will watch President Trump, I'll watch the address, and I'll give you an analysis tomorrow. But it's nice to deviate from politics. You need to, at least some each day, so you can refresh your brain and get back into a good mood, because let's face it, politics can get you in a bad mood. You shouldn't let it, but it can, and I get it. I understand it. Most of the politicians in Washington are a bunch of bozos. They only care for themselves and not you and me. We have to care for ourselves first, because nobody's going to do it for you. But the cool thing about talking about Artemis and things like this is it just gets away from politics for a little bit, and it's just really cool just to think about this. And I'll tell you this. I alluded to this. This launch tonight is going to be the first crewed mission to travel beyond low Earth's orbit since Apollo 17. Folks, Apollo 17, that was 1972. A lot of you weren't even born then. I mean, that was a gleam in someone's eye at that point. But 1972, ladies and gentlemen, 1972. That's the last time. That was when Apollo went into low Earth orbit, and we're about to do it again tonight. And so that's amazing. I don't know why. Maybe the media. No, look, I just looked up Fox News. They actually are talking about the mission. So good for them. Good for them. I think more media should be talking about it. The American citizens should be so proud about what is about to take place tonight with this Artemis mission, and the fact that we've got men and women getting on this rocket, and they're about to go and do what we haven't done since Apollo 17. And come on, you guys have seen the movie. And if you haven't seen Apollo, well, there's another movie, Flounder, that people need to see. They need to put that on the list, the Apollo movies, because that's, boy, what an amazing thing. So it's awesome, folks. Trust me, you're going to watch. And that's one thing you definitely should watch tonight. Watch this launch. It's going to be pretty outstanding. So, okay. I am going to, I want to get into the 14th Amendment, because that case is going on, and I want to break it down for you guys. Listen, I can break this down for you very simple. I'm not one of those talk show hosts that's going to try and build you up because I know what you want to hear. And I'm not going to try to build you up because I know the outcome you want. I know that if you are a diehard Trump supporter, now I know which way you want the 14th Amendment to go. And I know if you're out there on the left coast, I know which way you want this decision to go. I'm not going to tell you what I think you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to know and what you need. I'm just going to tell you the truth, and I'm going to tell you my honest analysis, because I can break this down very simple for you. I don't have to use gobbledygook. I don't have to use legalese, and I don't have an agenda. And I'm also a product of the 14th Amendment. So, I mean, I just have a different way of looking at things, folks, and I take a common sense approach. And again, this is an issue that no matter which way it goes, you shouldn't be mad, because let me tell you something. Trump's going to win and he's going to lose. If I can put it in a simple term, some of you are going to think he's going to lose this case. Some of you think it's going to be a win. It's actually going to be both. And I'm going to get into that. I'll explain that. But I want to, I don't know if we have enough time, Flounder. You know what, Flounder? Let's hold that. I do want to do a soundbite. Folks, Marco Rubio did an amazing thing, and he probably should have done this about 3 weeks ago. When we started this stuff in Iran, when we started that, and some people get mad, they want me to say Iran. The proper pronunciation is Iran. But then some people laugh at me and get mad at me when I say that. Look, whatever. When we come back, I'll do this because I want you guys to hear this. It's about 2 minutes, and I want you to hear what Marco Rubio says, because this is the best explanation for what just happened. And I got a feeling you're going to hear some of this tonight with President Trump, but I want you to hear Rubio, because not only does Rubio do a great job, Marco Rubio is on his way to being next. I don't know if he's going to be the next president. That dude is going to be president at some point. So let's go ahead and take this break, and we'll get back, and then we'll do that soundbite.
Fighting the communists with truth every day on the only conservative news and talk station in Atlanta. Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
You've worked hard to save, and many even have a financial advisor. But is your portfolio as efficient as it can be? I'm here today with Evan Ward of Atlas Retirement, where our listeners can get a second opinion on their retirement savings. So, Evan, tell folks the biggest benefits of getting that second look.
Well, it's clarity. It's confidence. And I had a client come in the other day, and she thought, and she is, exceptionally conservative financially. And that's the way she had told her financial advisor to investors. She thought she was paying very little in fees. We came into the full review of her portfolio. She was taking a great deal of risk, so much so that she, in a good market, was down like 15, 20%. But then the thing that really put her over the top, the thing that she had no idea is she was paying about 4.5% a year in fees. It was an outrageous kick in the teeth to her. But the good news is there are ways to fix that problem pretty quickly and get you in line with what you actually thought you had.
Second opinions obviously are important, Evan, and as is reviewing what you have in place, right? You don't want to set it and forget it. You don't want to put a retirement plan together and just think, okay, now I'm good for the future, right?
Well, the way I view retirement and retirement plans is they're living, breathing things. Because the one thing I can promise you, I can promise me, and I can promise every single person that walks in our office is life will throw you curveballs. Things will change, and we've got to adapt with them. So if we aren't having annual reviews, and as you get closer to retirement, even more so, we have to adapt and build from there.
If you'd like a second opinion when it comes to your savings and investments, call Atlas Retirement for a complimentary second opinion today. That number is 678-736-7799. That's 678-736-7799. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor.
Hear that? That's the sound of the annual Duck Pluck event supporting Special Olympics Georgia. For just $10, you can adopt a rubber duck or grab a whole flock. Every dollar helps provide meals and housing for over 18,000 Special Olympics Georgia athletes. And if your duck is plucked, you can win some great prizes. Adopt your duck now at duckrace.com/Atlanta.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She could get a deal. Book telehealth if she feels.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
Hey, it's Front Office Los with Tom, the honest car guy. Let's talk about the new way to buy a car in 2026. Tell me how you can save clients thousands of dollars in this process.
I got a customer here, Jeff Everhart. I met him today first time because I delivered his 25 model Honda Pilot, fully loaded with only 16,000 miles on it. Jeff, Answer Los's question about that one.
It was actually shocking. I mean, you hear the advertisements, you want to believe it, and then when you go through with the sale, and there's no extras, there's no dock fees, there's no storage fees, no transportation fees. The price I was given was the price that I paid plus their honest fee. I did save thousands of dollars, and it was a very quick sale.
Well, we appreciate that.
And did it from my living room.
Did it from your living room.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
The Victor Armandiaz Show. Filling in this week for the Kimmer Show.
Kimmer's out there enjoying himself, hopefully on the golf course, and hopefully he's doing much better than I would do on the golf course. It's hard enough for me to find clubs that are small enough. I have to use the kids' clubs, junior clubs. Oh, it's pretty sad. All right, folks, listen, I'm going to go ahead and let's do this. I want you guys to listen to this because all over social media, I keep seeing people, why do we have the right to go and stop another country from getting a nuke and blah. You wouldn't ask that question when I ran after they used the nuke. So I want you to listen to this. Flounder.
Many Americans are asking, why did the United States have to attack Iran now? Well, let me explain. Iran wants to have nuclear weapons. Of that, there is zero doubt. If what they truly wanted, which is what they claim, is nuclear energy, well, they could have nuclear energy like all the other countries in the world have it. And that is you import the fuel and you build reactors above ground. That's not what Iran has done. They build their reactors and their facilities deep in mountains, away from the public glare. And they want to enrich that material. The same equipment that they could use to enrich material for energy, they could use to quickly enrich it to weapons grade. So it is clear that they've been offered every opportunity to have a nuclear program that allows them to have energy, not weapons. And every single time they have turned it down. But why the attack now? Well, what was Iran trying to do? Iran was trying to build a conventional shield, in essence, have so many missiles, have so many drones that no one could attack them, and they were well on their way. We were on the verge of an Iran that had so many missiles and so many drones that no one could do anything about their nuclear weapons program in the future. That was an intolerable risk. Under no circumstances can a country run by radical Shia clerics with an apocalyptic vision of the future ever possess nuclear weapons. And under no circumstances can they be allowed to hide and protect that program and their ambitions behind a shield of missiles and drones that no one can do anything about. This was our last best chance to eliminate that conventional threat, that conventional shield that they were trying to build, and the president made the right decision to wipe it out now. That is the goal of this operation, to destroy their conventional missiles and their drone program so they can't hide behind it and finally have to deal with the world seriously about never, ever having nuclear weapons.
I mean, it's plain and simple, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't get any cut and dry, more cut and dry than that. And now I would have loved for him to have done that in the beginning, because maybe that would have put a lot of people's the way they're reacting. Because here's the problem: we have a dishonest media. It's just a fact. I'm sorry, folks, and some of you get mad at me when you hear me say it, but it's true. I mean, especially the Democrat listeners that I have. And yeah, folks, believe it or not, there are quite a few Democrats that listen to me because they all think they're going to be able to convert me, and that's not going to happen. It's I would have loved for him to have started out that way, but unfortunately we have a dishonest media. We have probably 95% of the media that for some reason they just don't like conservatism. I don't know why. You would think they would want to conserve a good media or a good founded media, but for some reason they think that if they placate to here's a dirty little secret that I think is going on. The media and the elites These people who think they're better than you and me. And trust me, most of the people in the media think, look, I'm in radio. And I spend time, and those of you who've been listening to me a while, you know, I'm going to get myself in trouble here. You guys who've been listening to me for a while, you know, I mean, a lot of you found me and you found my show because of me filling in for another guy down the dial. I'll get it out, folks. A lot of you found me because you heard me fill in for a national radio host who's on before me at this time. And that's how you found me. And I will tell you this, that radio station over there is in the basement because all the money goes to the news crew, which is above them, literally above them. It's just different. The media, the TV media and the what used to be the newspaper media, they consider themselves the elite. And they, for some reason, feel that the people of this country, and unfortunately, they're right when you look at the young heads full of mush coming out of college. They see where the country's headed, and they think we're headed to socialism. Will we ever reach communism? I don't know. I hope not. But we're already flirting with socialism, folks. I mean, the fact that we have so many government programs to help the so-called poor, and listen, I'm not disparaging the poor. I was a poor person for a long time. I know what it's like to have a car on the verge of being repoed. I know what it's like to have to eat. Now, I wasn't a ramen noodle guy, but I ate peanut butter and crackers because that's all I could afford for a while. I know what it's like. But the government saying they're going to help you and get you out of poverty is a bunch of BS. They've been saying that for longer than I've been alive. And poverty has only gotten worse. So government's not the answer. Capitalism is the answer. A free market system is the answer. Opportunity is the answer. And I'm talking equal opportunity, not equity. Because you cannot determine outcomes. Because then you get into a whole bunch of government socialistic communist mess, and all you do is create more poverty. And you know what the reason that they love poverty where it is? Because that's dependency. The more poverty you have, the more dependency you have. And if you have dependence on a political party, then they're going to be in power forever. And that's what the Democrats want. Today's Democrat Party, they want a one-party system. They want most of the country dependent on them so that they can just basically rule over you. And that's a shame. You talk about no kings. This is how I'm misinformed. I'm trying to be nice, but this is how misinformed and misguided these people, these young people and old people that are all running around screaming no kings. The party that they profess to support is the party that would be a king over you in a heartbeat. The party that's on a fast track to authoritarianism, the party that's on a fast track to oligarchy is the Democrat Party. And so it just cracks me up when I see all this stuff, when this no king stuff, because the party that's trying to control every aspect of your life is the Democrat Party. And so with all these programs and everything that I see, I mean, all it's doing is creating dependency. And we don't need more of that. So when I talk about poverty and the way government is, I think they're creating it. And they're well, at least part of the government. Because that's what they want. They want dependency. And that's a whole nother road I could go down, but there's so much more I want to get to. But I just want you to understand that. I want you to understand that. But before I go down that road, I'll get back on this whole, this Iran thing, with Rubio. That was a great way to put it the way he put it. And it was a great way for you to see that, okay, we are living now, and we had the choice to allow Iran to keep doing what they're doing and take the chance like so many Tucker Carlson types wanted, or the crazy left wanted, is to take a chance and sit and do nothing. Now, understand, your regular Democrat, the old guard, the Pelosi's, the Schumers, the Blumenthals, the Clintons, that type of Democrat, they even Biden and even Kamala to an extent, the Obamas, they all know that Iran should not have a nuclear weapon. They all wanted to do what Trump is doing. What they're mad about right now is Trump's the one doing it. If Trump were a Democrat, if Joe Biden had his senses and wasn't a dementia patient, and had he done what Trump is doing, they would be cheering him on. They'd be cheering him on. They wouldn't want it to be a quick war. They would just want to be there and pound. That would be your Democrat Party today. But see, they don't know how to put the country first. They only know how to put the Democrat Party first. That's all they know. They cannot help themselves. So, because I can tell you right now as I sit here, if Joe Biden or Cackling Harris, a President Cackling Harris, were doing today what President Trump is doing, the Republican Party would be on board. They might have some issues with if Kamala was taking too long, or on aspects like that, or were we hitting him hard enough? Did we have the right rules of engagement? That would be conversations Republicans would be having, but they would not be having a conversation saying you shouldn't be doing it, and they wouldn't be saying that our military is going to fail. They wouldn't be saying that this is a bad thing. See, that's the difference. The Republicans would be standing with the military, and they'd be standing with the mission. The Democrats can't do that because the Democrats can't stand the fact that Donald Trump is winning. And that makes them sick to their stomachs because they want to win. The Democrats view everything as a game, as a win or lose. And if Trump wins, they lose. And they can't stand it.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. This hour is presented by Atlanta Safe House.
An operational update. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The White House says that's what President Trump plans in his address to the nation tonight on Iran.
He will highlight the United States military's success in achieving its stated goals prior to the operation, which were destroy Iran's deadly ballistic missiles and production facilities, annihilate their navy, ensure their terrorist proxies can never destabilize the region again, guarantee that Iran can never obtain a nuclear weapon, and he is going to reiterate the 2 to 3 week timetable for concluding the operation.
Fox's Peter Doocy at the White House. The president is also suggesting it may be time to pull out of NATO. That would require an act of Congress or 2/3 Senate vote. The House and Senate Republican leaders just out with a joint statement saying they'll follow through on the president's directive to fully fund Homeland Security using two parallel tracks. One to advance a Senate-passed bill funding most of DHS, which the House had rejected last week. The other bill using a process to get around the Senate filibuster rule and fund ICE and border protection. The Supreme Court hearing arguments on President Trump's effort to end automatic citizenship if a baby's parents are here illegally or only have temporary status. Fox News chief legal correspondent Shannon Bream.
Most of this argument focused on the past, the interpretations of these words, what Congress has and hasn't done over the years, what courts have done over the years. Well, Justice Alito said, listen, the people who wrote the words that we're examining today could never have foreseen things like birth tourism.
Chief Justice John Roberts noting it's the same Constitution, one of many justices pushing back on the Solicitor General's arguments. Just getting word serial killer Ted Bundy has another confirmed victim, a Utah teenager murdered in 1974, now linked through new DNA testing to Bundy, who was executed decades ago, already linked to the deaths of at least 30 women and girls in several states. Wall Street off to a good start for April, the Dow higher at the bell. America's listening to Fox News.
Born on America's darkest day, 9/11/01, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been helping American heroes ever since. Heroes like FDNY Lieutenant Edward J. McDonough Jr. McDonough served at Ground Zero. He later lost his life to a related cancer. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation was able to honor his sacrifice by paying off the family's mortgage. Donate $11 a month, and you can amplify your impact with a car or land donation. Just go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-809-7171. That's 800-809-7171.
Can you do that on a guitar? I can't. I've tried to do that on the bass. Can't do it either. That's a great tune. That's a band called Dragon Force, if you're wondering. And if you've never heard that, you should look it up. It's amazing. If you're a music lover or you play guitar, then you probably know what that is, that song. I don't think I've ever heard it on the radio, but it sure is a cool tune. All right, folks, welcome back. It's the Victor Armandiaz Show, filling in for the Kimmer Show, Extra 106.3, Extra 106.3. Folks, make sure you get the app. Please get the app, Extra 106.3 app, and you can take me with you everywhere. I think, one of the coolest things that happened to me, this is so cool, and this is why you need the app, is I was going through, I used to travel a whole lot, folks, and last year, it was last year, I was in the airport, and somebody was listening to my show. That's a weird feeling. I have to admit, folks, when you can overhear and you go, gosh, that sounds like me. And so, hey, it's just really cool. And so, again, get the app. You can take me wherever you go. And you can take the Kimmer, and you can take Tug and Los, and you can take the Bortz Report. You can have it all if you just get the app. So, 106.3 app. So, all right, folks, listen, please do me a favor. Look me up. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on X. Look me up, follow me there. I would appreciate it. I just spell it right. ARMENDARIZ. ARMENDARIZ, The Victor Armandiaz Show. You can find me just about anywhere. You can find me on YouTube, but the best page on YouTube is the Extra 106 YouTube page. So just go to the Extra 106.3 YouTube page, and you can find me and the Kimmer and everybody else on there. So do that. I would appreciate it, ladies and gentlemen. I had some listeners ask me about a website. I don't have a website. Maybe one day. I'm too low on the totem pole for a website, or I'm just too lazy. You guys can decide. So, okay. So tonight, I think it's great what Rubio did. I think is setting the stage for tonight, because President Trump, in case you haven't heard, he's going to address the nation tonight. Now, some of you are going to ask, why didn't he do this before? Listen, when you're doing an operation like what we did, and what we're doing right now in Iran, you have to be careful what you say and when you say it, because there's too many anti-American Democrats. And yes, I am not afraid to say that, folks. I am the Mexican, not afraid to be American, and I'm not afraid to tell you what I think. And I'm not afraid to tell you, because you need to hear it from somebody. And unfortunately, we have elected officials and we have bureaucrats that just downright do not like this country. I don't know why. I don't know. The only thing I can think of, and this is kind of where I was going with the whole discussion about the media, and how they're elites, and they're the top of the chain when you talk about media, the TV media, and this crowd, and your reporters or so-called journalists. They think they're part of the elite, so they think the country's going, because of the heads full of mush coming out of college. They think the country is headed toward socialism. They think the young people want it, and unfortunately, too many of them do. Because our colleges, folks, have been infiltrated by left-wing professors who are pushing this left-wing crap, because, see, they all have tenure. They're all getting paid way too much money to be professors, in my opinion, but they're getting paid unbelievable amounts of money. Look at these colleges. Look at their grants that they receive. Look at their there's a word, and for some reason it's escaping me now. Their endowments. Look at their endowments. Look at how much these colleges are worth, and look at what they pay professors. And these are left-wing moonbats, most of them, and they're filling these heads full of mush and brainwashing students. That's why you have Hamas flag waving. I mean, think about it, folks. There's no ambiguity. Hamas is a terrorist nation. They do horrible things to innocent people, and you've got college students waving their flag around. You've got college students that are siding with Hamas, a terrorist organization, and they're in this country because they're being taught by left-wing moonbat professors. And these left-wing moonbat professors, if this country turned into the mess that they want, which would be a socialist mess, or even communism, see, these elitist professors think they would be part of the group. They'd be part of the group. Let me give you a history lesson here real quick. Here's, if you go and look at Iran, for instance, you look at Iran. If you go back to, oh my gosh, you got to go back to the 70s and some point before then, or in there. I don't know, but it's a long time ago. When the Ayatollahs came into power and when they overthrew the old government of Iran, the people that were pushing the Ayatollah, they wanted Sharia law. They wanted this mullahs. They wanted this radical belief in Islam to rule the day there. And so the Ayatollah, they were pushing the Ayatollahs and helping the Ayatollahs. The Ayatollahs, I mean the supporters of the Ayatollahs, these radical Muslims, these radical Islamists, they jumped in bed with the socialists. And the socialists in Iran, the students, the young people, the people that believed in socialism, they didn't believe in the radical Islam, but they believed in socialism. But the radical Islam nut jobs went to the socialists and said, listen, I'm making this very simple to understand. I'm not going to be technical. I want you to understand this. So I'm simplifying this. But basically, your radical Islamist people went and jumped in bed with the socialists, and they said, look, you socialist people over here, our agenda is the same. We want to get rid of these free thinking leaders. We want to get rid of this king who's actually too friendly with the West. We want to get rid of him. You help us, and then we will put the Ayatollahs in power, and then we'll have your little socialism. Well, you know what happened? So they got in bed, and the socialists helped the crazy radical Islamists take over and bring the mullahs and Ayatollahs into power. You know what happened? You know the first people the radical Muslims killed? The socialists. They didn't want to partner with them. They partnered and used them like useful idiots to get that power. And that's what these people in the media in this country, I don't think they understand because they don't know their history. And so you have the elitist media people, you have the elitist professors, they think they're all going to be in bed with these politicians if they were to get full on socialist. But these politicians that would bring and rule with this full on socialist mess, you think they're going to turn to these intellectuals and let them be part of their playground? They may keep some of them around, but they're not going to keep all of them around. And you're going to have history repeat itself. And so it's just amazing to me to see that the media that shrined in freedom of the press, shrined in freedom of speech, the first thing that would be taken away from them would be freedom of speech and freedom of the press. So logically, I have such a hard time understanding why we have such a left-wing media. Because these left-wingers that are pushing this crap, the first thing that would be taken away from them. Listen, the Biden administration tried to do this under just a couple of years ago when they tried to implement the Department of Speech. That's basically what it was. I can't remember what they were calling it. You know, they gave it a pretty name, so they'll try to, because they try everything that they try to do, they give pretty names so they can fool you. Like the affordable health care. There's nothing affordable about Obamacare. Folks, I'm dealing with this right now myself. The cost of trying to of purchasing health care for my family, and Obamacare has just there's nothing affordable about it. In fact, I'm doing my taxes right now, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm having to pay more because Obamacare dictated to I'm not kidding you, the tax people are telling me this, because of Obamacare and because of your earnings, you gotta pay more. I mean, yeah. So see, this is what the Democrats will do. They give pretty language. Affordable Care Act. There was nothing affordable about it. So it just blows my mind that these people think they're going to be part of the elite when the first thing a socialist takeover of this country, the first thing they will do is take away freedom of speech and take away freedom of the press. And like I said, the Bidens already started that. The Bidens and the Democrats, when they tried to do this whole Department of Speech, where they wanted to actually monitor and tell you what you could say and what you can't say. They want to cancel you. Look how many people they canceled during COVID. Look what happened. Do you remember 2020? Because you should. You should. You remember when actual doctors went on YouTube? I myself got put in YouTube jail because of my radio show back in 2020 because I wasn't going along and I was citing the website from the the CDC. I was citing the CDC website information and I was put in YouTube jail for doing it because it wasn't jiving with the Democrat narrative. And actual doctors were on saying, hey, this may not be true. We should look at this. And they got put in media canceled jail. And there were doctors saying, hey, what about this herd immunity? Herd immunity up until 2020 was a thing. And the Democrats decided, no, that's not a thing anymore. We want you all we want to punch you all with a shot. So we're not going to believe in herd immunity anymore. We're going to pretend like herd immunity was never a thing. And then all these real doctors were going, wait a minute, what are you talking about? Well, they were all canceled. All this stuff happened. Your Democrat Party is the party that wants to stifle your speech. The Democrat Party is the party of today that wants to control the way you think, what you eat, what you drive, how you heat your house. All of this stuff, folks, all of this is coming from the left. And I'm really, really, really hope that you guys wake up and see this at some point. So, oh my goodness, folks, we're going to have to take another profit time out here. Let's take this break, Flounder. And when we come back, I'm going to get into some 14th Amendment talk.
Time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
There's a lot of questions about this war in the Middle East. One of the big ones is, why in the world is Iran attacking its Muslim brothers? I've been interested in this conflict for a while. I'm not an expert, but I think that I might know more than the average voter. Iran and the other Mideast countries are very much different. Number one, Iran is not Arab. It is Persian. They speak a different language. Iran and the Arab countries have been engaged in a strong rivalry longer than a lot of you people have been alive. Iran wants to dominate the Middle East. The Arab states do not want that. They want to dominate. Now you might say, well, that's not our fight. Let them fight it out. Why should we care? Your wallet. That's why we should care. When the Persians and the Arabs start rattling their sabers, well, congratulations. You're paying $5 a gallon for gas right now. Why? Because those countries are battling each other for dominance. And here's something that you might not get. The Arab states are so wary of Iran that they are more or less forced to align themselves with the United States and even Israel. Arab states aligned with Israel in this fight, that should tell you how serious it is. So if you lump all of these states as just the Middle East, you're missing this nuance. Persian versus Arab. Not only that, but a lot of politicians are similarly unaware. You ignore these competing countries with different cultures, misunderstanding the Middle East, and these conflicts keep showing up. One final note. Iran must be destroyed. So there. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
All right, now, if you've been listening to the camera a long time here on Extra, you know I don't put my name on just about anything. It's really not worth it in the long run, so you just don't do it. But my longtime friends are people I love to represent, like Jeff and his lovely bride at Peach State Windows, family-owned company I've known for more than 20 years. He knows Georgia weather and the Georgia building codes and what works in our homes. He's got a deal for you. The big boys, those national companies who don't care about you individually, you can beat them like crazy. Here you go. How about 8 premium Energy Star double hung replacement windows fully installed for $39.95. 8 windows fully installed for under $4,000. Wow. You don't get deals like that from those big national companies or the personal service either, the craftsmanship that Jeff provides, because he knows what he's doing. You know, when your name's on the business, you kind of do a little something extra to make sure people are happy. And how about 0% financing to pay for it over 12 months? Upgrading is easy that way. How about PeachStateWindows.com? Check out what they can do for you. Or call, here's the number, 770-485-8011. Proven, trusted, priced right. PeachStateWindows.com.
Let's be honest. All cars and all car dealerships are not created equally. So when you're buying a new Toyota, you're not buying a vehicle, you're protecting a major investment. That's why where you buy matters. For over 50 years, Marietta Toyota served our community with the reputation built on straight answers, real accountability, and doing business the right way, proudly here since 1975. They have realized since day one that giving the customer the best deal possible, more car than they thought they were going to get inside their budget, that's how you keep people coming back. Here's the difference you won't hear everywhere. Every new Toyota comes with our nationwide lifetime powertrain warranty. That's valid for unlimited time and unlimited mileage as long as you own your Toyota. That's long-term confidence backed by Toyota quality and, of course, supported by Marietta Toyota, a dealership that will be here after the sale with service and genuine Toyota parts on Cobb Parkway South. Visit Marietta Toyota on Cobb Parkway South, about 3 miles north of Truist Park. MariettaToyota.com. Visit Marietta Toyota. We've been here and we'll be here for you.
Nationwide lifetime powertrain warranty included with every new Toyota purchase. See dealer for coverage details, exclusions, and requirements.
Former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich is strongly endorsing conservative Rick Jackson for governor. Here's Newt.
Few fought harder for President Trump than me, but nobody will fight harder for you than Rick Jackson. I've known Rick for over 20 years. He came from nothing, built a real business, and saved thousands of lives through his conservative Christian organizations.
America First warrior Newt Gingrich strongly endorses conservative Rick Jackson.
Like Trump, Rick is a once-in-a-generation leader. And like Trump, he can't be bought, he won't be intimidated, and the corrupt insiders know it. That's why they're scared. Rick will freeze insane property taxes, cut income taxes, and he'll fight for you, not the insiders. Join me in supporting my friend, Rick Jackson.
Stand with conservative Newt Gingrich and vote for the conservative outsider, Rick Jackson, for governor.
Paid for by Jackson for Governor, Inc.
Have you recognized this song yet? Oh, this is good. Trump should play this before his address tonight. Oh, he should walk out to this. Oh, yeah. Victor Armandiaz is here with you, ladies and gentlemen. Love it, love it, love it. Thank you for joining me. The number, if you want to be a part of this here show, 404-741-1230, 404-741-1230. And look, my rule still applies. If you call and you're still going to vote for a Democrat this year, then you'll go to the front of the line. I'll stop what I'm doing just to talk to you. If you want to call and tell me somehow that it makes sense to you to vote for today's Democrat, I just don't get it. But you can call and tell me. It'll be fun. But 404-741-1230. My goodness, folks, I don't know where you are, but where I am, it is 82 degrees. I think when I leave here, I'm going to go jump on my motorcycle. Now, it's going to be a little tough. Now, those of you who were around listening to me a few weeks or so ago, you saw me on YouTube, you saw me on crutches. So I'm in rehab with my knee, ladies and gentlemen. I managed to blow out my quad tendon. And if you've ever done that, you know what a pain in the butt it is. I mean, but you know what? I'm lucky to be walking again, so I'm just thankful for that. I can't run anywhere. I used to be really fast, folks, but not anymore. At least not yet. Maybe once I'm done in about I got 6 months to a year, ladies and gentlemen, of rehab to do on my knee, and then we'll see if I can start running again. Who knows? My soccer career might be over. I know. Sad day. All of those people at Atlanta Silverbacks, I know they miss me. I know they do, because before I got hurt, I was scoring goals. So trust me, I was. I'm not making that up. I'm not making it up. And there are some listeners out there that can attest to that fact. So there. All right, folks. Yeah, excuse me. So I want to. Let me just finish this up about tonight. So Donald Trump is going to speak tonight, and there are some things I would love for him to do. I think he's going to definitely kind of pick it up where Marco Rubio left off. I think Donald Trump is going to lay out the lay of the land. He's going to say, this is why I did what I did. Here's how it went. Here's what we wanted to do. Here's the goals I set out, even though the media lied to you and the Democrats lied to you and said there were no goals. There's always been a set of goals. Donald Trump said it in the beginning, and he's been saying it ever since, and I'm sure he's going to reiterate it tonight. And then he's going to check off the list, because our United States military hit every goal that President Trump wanted to hit. And they did an amazing job. So I'm sure he's going to talk about the amazing job that the United States men and women of our military, of what they've accomplished, because it's amazing what they've accomplished. Absolutely amazing. So I'm sure he'll do that, and he'll give a great update. And I'm sure he's going to talk about this ending soon. It kind of seems to be the theme today, that this is over. Maybe he'll have a big announcement tonight. I mean, how awesome would it be if he announced, hey, we're done. We're wrapping up the operation. It would be really cool if he would say that. If that's where we're at now, I don't know. We may be. I mean, it sounded to me like they were ahead of schedule just from when this started to where we are now. So it'll be interesting to see what he says. Now, what I would love for him to do is, after he updates on Iran and after he tells us the progress and what his plans are for the next couple of weeks, when he's finished with that, and after he berates the crap out of Europe, and he should, ladies and gentlemen, he should. Did you ever think, and this is how I want to put this in perspective for you. You would think that the world has said, not just us and not just Republicans, every Democrat president since Jimmy Carter has had the policy of Iran will have no nuke. Iran will have no nuke. They've all had the policy. They just, none of them had the huevos or the cojones to do what needed to be done, which is what we're doing now. But they've all said the same thing. The rest of the world knows it. They've all agreed. They say if there was a Democrat in office right now, Europe would be clapping their hands like a bunch of seals. But there's not a Democrat in office. There's Donald Trump. And they don't like him, because Donald Trump's making them pay more. They're all part of NATO, or most of them are part of NATO, and they were getting away having a good old time on our dime. For you people out there, you people that are so mad suddenly about the money we're spending in Iran, and you're so mad about the money that we in arms that we send to Israel, and you're mad about all that stuff. You don't have a problem with the money that we spend in NATO, the money that we spend in the UN, and you don't have a problem with for years the United States bankrolled NATO, and the other countries just had great little dinners and fun skiing parties, having meetings about it using our money. And then Donald Trump comes along and goes, yeah, we're not playing this game anymore. You guys are all going to start paying your fair share. The left, the Democrats and socialists, they love to use the term your fair share. Bernie Sanders, the biggest socialist of them all, who is an oligarch himself, this guy, every other word out of his mouth is fair share. Who got to use pay your fair share? Yeah, whatever. Yeah, when he pays his fair share, I'll pay mine. So, I mean, it's ridiculous. And let me tell you what the code is of fair share. When these Democrats talk to you about fair share and they talk about taxing millionaires and billionaires, folks, there aren't enough millionaires and billionaires in this country to give the Democrats the amount of money they want. What they're doing is figuring out a way to come after the middle class, because every tax that they say they're going to put on and this has been happening since the implementation of an income tax. This has been happening because the beginning of the income tax, these politicians said the same thing. It's only for the rich. It's only 3%. It's only for the rich. Who gets soaked? The middle class. The middle class has always gotten soaked, and the middle class will get soaked because that's the biggest. That's the pie. When you look at the pie, the tax pie, there aren't enough millionaires and billionaires, and most of these billionaires and millionaires are friends of the politicians and the lobbyists. The lobbyists get in bed with the politicians to cut out holes and loopholes for the millionaires and billionaires. Why? Because the millionaires and billionaires fund the Democrats and the politicians. So do you think that these politicians are going to go just seize and grab hold of the money that would be coming to their coffers? No, they're not going to do that, because the only thing a politician cares about is reelection. The only thing they care about is reelection. That's number one. And they can't do it without money. And so do you honestly think they're going to make real changes without loopholes for their buddies to jump through? Do you honestly think that Bernie Sanders is going to suddenly have an epiphany and really, really target the people that he's telling you he's going to target? No. Those are his buddies. They're the ones who donate to his campaign, and the rest of the Democrats. They're not going to do it. They're going to end up coming after the middle class. They always do. So I would love to see tonight. I would love to see Trump look out and say, and after he's done and talking, and I really want him to go after Europe, because they and this is what I mean about putting this in perspective. You would think that going in and taking care of the problem that the world says existed with Iran, that the French, the Spanish, the English, you would think, and the Germans, you would think that they could send a few ships out and go, you know what? You, United States, you don't really get your oil through the Strait of Hormuz, but we do. We need to. We're going to help you make sure that we're going to help. We're going to be NATO friendly, and we're going to do what NATO should do, what NATO's supposed to do. We're going to come to the aid of our NATO partner, and we're going to make sure help you with the Strait of Hormuz. None of them are doing it. They don't even want to open up their airspace, some of them, to us. And that is our so-called allies. The blood, sweat, and tears that we've bled and rained down on for those countries in Europe, and for them to treat us like this, yeah, I'm pretty pissed off about it, and I know Donald Trump is pissed off about it, and he should be. And you know what? Donald Trump has the fortitude, the strength, and the New Yorkerness enough to be pissed and let them know he's pissed. And I have a feeling he's going to do that tonight, and I hope he does. Because did you ever think that we would go into the Middle East, take out a Middle Eastern country, the Persians, which is Iran, and have the majority, I mean everybody in the Middle East, every Arab country is on our side? You know, CNN probably won't report this, but the Arab nations are begging Donald Trump, begging the United States, please don't leave until you completely knock out this Iranian government. We don't want to deal with it anymore. We don't want to deal with it. The Arabs are on our side. The UAE, United Arab Emirates, are offering to help. And other Arab countries are offering to help the United States, and England and France and Spain, where part of my family's from. This pains me. Spain as being one of the biggest idiots. But Germany, they're not even, I mean, it's unbelievable. And I got a feeling Donald Trump is going to give them an earful tonight, and that'll be fun to watch. And then I hope he does something else. And when we come back from this break, I'm going to tell you the other thing that he should do. And if he does, I'm going to say that he got the idea from me.
If you listen to Extra, share it with a friend. It's how we grow and how we can reach everyone in the Atlanta community that believes in the American way of life. If you value the station, help us grow by telling someone about the Extra 106.3 app.
Well, we got your sun, we got your rain, we got your temperatures. Whoa, growing season, planting season. Stovall & Company, third generation wholesale landscaping suppliers with 11 locations, and they've been providing contractors for 75 or something years. And don't forget, if you're putting in an outdoor fireplace or a kitchen by the pool or something in somebody's yard, they can help you with concrete type stuff. And if you have something you need, they don't have it, they tell you where else to get it. What a deal. StovallInc.com.
Hey Atlanta, it's Drake Baldwin here. When I won Rookie of the Year, I thought of everyone who helped me along the way. My friends, my family, and hot showers. That's why when something goes wrong, I call Superior Plumbing. Still locally owned, Superior has been serving Atlanta for over 40 years as the go-to plumber for leak repairs, toilet replacement, and water heater installation. They don't call them the honest one for no reason. Superior's team is my MVP. Remember, there's no job too small.
770-422 Plum. You should never need financing for a simple garage door repair, but it's happening here. Out-of-town companies have invaded Atlanta for a cash grab, charging outrageous prices. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. Stay local and stay on budget for every opening of your home. All Four Seasons, trusted in Atlanta for over 25 years, exceptional customer service, and fair, honest pricing. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 Seasons Garages.
Attention, Antifa, human traffickers, cartels, and woke DAs. With Chris Carr as governor, you won't stand a chance.
I'm Chris Carr. In Georgia, we will prosecute you. It's easy for politicians to talk tough, but I'm the only Republican who put gangs, human traffickers, and Antifa behind bars. I even fought Obama, Biden, and Abrams in court and won. If you're attacking our police or our freedoms, I'll be your worst nightmare.
Chris Carr doesn't just talk tough. Carr had the courage, brought the cases, and locked up the criminals. He has more than 120 gang convictions. Over 200 human trafficking victims have been rescued and seized enough fentanyl to kill 3.5 million Georgians. Carr's taking on the woke left, making crime illegal again. As governor, Chris Carr will keep up the fight and never back down. Chris Carr, governor. Real fights, real wins, real conservative. Paid for by Carr for Georgia.
Time now for the Retire Wise Report. James Parker here with financial advisor Sean Maloney, founder and CEO of Retire Wise. So when we go through days or weeks of volatility in the market, Sean, it's hard to know what to do. What can you tell us?
The biggest thing is don't panic or make immediate decisions with your money. Take those emotional concerns out of the middle of it. You know, look, markets cycle regularly. Market corrections and bear markets are a normal part of the cycle. They're just part of the plan that are going to be accounted for. If you feel nervous when you read the headlines about big drops in the market, you might not know enough about how your money is positioned. That's why it's important to get the right guidance on a financial plan for your retirement.
Tell us about the offer you have for our listeners.
All right, so now's the time to start, folks. Looking ahead and identifying if you have too much risk in your portfolio. That's the first thing. We have a helpful little resource for our listeners today. We call it the Retire Happy Framework Toolkit. You can get it today by calling or texting WISE to 770-802-2200. My team helped put together this just for you, and it's a complimentary guide. And the center of this is a copy of my latest book, The Priority of Retirement, plus guides on major topics like investments, Social Security, income planning, taxes, and so forth of the key components of retirement. So if you want to get this information in your hands today, call or text WISE to 770-802-2200. That's 770-802-2200.
Take advantage of this offer and get your Retire Happy Framework today. Just text WISE to 770-802-2200. The team at Retire Wise will get you your Retire Happy Framework to you right away. So just call or text WISE to 770-802-2200. Investment advisory services made available through AE Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Firm does not provide tax services.
That's one I haven't heard in a while. Husker Du, for those of you wondering. All right, welcome back. Extra 106.3. Victor Armandiaz, your Mexican, not afraid to be American. And folks, listen, I'm not angry. I'm just right. So here's what I want President Trump to do. So when he does all what he needs to do about Iran and I think he's gonna hit Europe hard. I think he's gonna go right up short of saying we, the United States, are leaving NATO. And the only reason that he may not say that is because I don't think he can do that. I think it would take a congressional legislation to actually depart NATO. But I wouldn't be surprised if he walks that line because, folks, yeah, he's pretty mad at the NATO countries, and I don't blame him. But here's the other thing. So once he's done with that, I really want him to look at the cameras, and I want him to speak directly to the TSA agents, because I have a feeling a lot of TSA agents might be tuned in tonight to just to see if something's going to be said about what's going on with the Democrats not funding the Homeland Security and not funding TSA. I want Donald Trump to look straight at the camera and speak directly to TSA agents and speak directly to business travelers and leisurely traveling, everybody that's been traveling lately. And I want Trump to spell it out. I want him to say, hey, this is what the bill that's forth, and this is, hold up a sheet, hold up he likes using videos, he likes using whiteboards. Hold one up and say, this is every time the Democrats voted no to pay you blue collar TSA worker, some of you living paycheck to paycheck. This is how many times these Democrats voted no to pay you. And then I want him to say, you got your back pay and you're getting paid right now because I had to sign an executive order because the Democrats would not vote to pay you. The Democrat Party is perfectly okay with you not being paid. They don't care that some of you are... In fact, how great would it be if he even contacted, or somebody in the Trump administration contact some of these TSA agents who are struggling, who were struggling in the past few weeks because they didn't get paid for like 3 or 4 weeks, and tell their story. Tell their story. Joe Blow here, TSA agent for this many years, car was about to be repoed until I got him paid. And Sheila over here, TSA agent for this many years, dedication for this many years, was about to be kicked out of her rental house or rental apartment because the Democrats would not pay her. But she's got a roof over her head because we were able to find a way to pay her. And then explain to the American people, now I signed an executive order. I'm having to use emergency powers. We don't like to use these powers, but I had to do it so I could pay the TSA, so you could get paid. TSA agents could get paid. And your Democrat Party started looking for a judge to put an injunction to stop me from paying you. That's your Democrat Party. And some of you may be going, oh, Victor, that's so partisan. I don't care. It is time for the games to stop. It is time for a president to look at the cameras and look at these workers who have been abused by the Democrat Party and spell it out for them. And folks, look, I'm not angry. I'm just right. I'm not angry. I'm just right. It is time to spell it out. Because the crazy thing is the union leaders, the union goons for the TSA have been on trying to convince the workers, the poor slops that are working, trying to convince them that the Democrats were in the right. Then somehow this is and I just, if Donald Trump would spell this out, it'd be a great thing. And then when he's done spelling it out, he needs to go. And by the way, I am using the powers under the executive branch and under Article 1. I am recalling Congress to Washington immediately. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, before you throw something at me through your phones or your devices, the executive branch has that power. You can go look it up. If you ever doubt anything about the Constitution, or if you doubt what Donald Trump is doing, go read Article 1, Article 2, and Article 3. It's the Constitution is very clear, and it's not a living, breathing document like the left pretends it is. It is a fantastic, most incredible thing ever written by man, and everything. It's clear as day. Now, it takes some interpretation. I mean, you got to read this stuff, and you got to be willing to read it and read it through. And sometimes, what do I mean by interpretation? When you read the Constitution, a lot of times you've got to go read the Founding Fathers' writings, that what led them to what they put in the Constitution. Now, you're talking about guys, the founders, the Founding Fathers, Jefferson, Hamilton, Adams. These guys were locked in room for, there's like 55 days to hash out the Constitution. But leading up to all of that and all of their decisions, you can read their writings, their own writings. You can find all of it, and you can see what frame of mind they were in to get to the decision that they made, and then what they agreed to put in the Constitution. It's all there. It's all there. Another good thing to read is the Federalist Papers. Read the Hamilton and can't remember who else did it, but read that and you'll get an idea of what was going on and how the Constitution became what it is. But you can read Article 1. But Donald Trump, President Trump, as the leader and executive of the executive branch, has the power to recall Congress, and they have to come back to Washington. And what a great thing after he explains to the TS agents what's happened and what's going on. Then he needs to say, on behalf of the TSA workers and on behalf of the American people, I enact Article 1, blah, 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 section this, section that, and I am going to recall Congress. And that's what needs to happen right there. Right. And if he called them back, and I hope he does this, because then they're all going to have to leave their little vacations that they're having now, and they're going to have to go back to Washington, and then they're going to have to figure out a way to reopen and fund Homeland Security and fund the TSA. Now, the other thing I would love for President Trump to do is to say, if you guys come back to Washington, when you guys come back under my order, and if you still will not fund the Homeland Security, then clearly we do not need Homeland Security, and we will start immediately defunding it and shutting down the Department of Homeland Security, and we will save the American people $1 gazillion. That's what he needs to say. And he can say, we're not going to put people out of work. We'll move them into the other departments where they probably should be anyway. I mean, do we really need a Homeland Security? That needs to be a discussion. So kill it. Call the Democrats on their bluff. If they're not willing to fund it, clearly we don't need it. So defund it, shut it down. What a great thing if he would talk that way, and then say, as President of the United States, I'm encouraging the Republicans to use reconciliation, if this is possible, use reconciliation to offer tax breaks to any private company that's willing to take over TSA throughout all the airports across the country in the United States and privatize TSA, and give them a tax break to hire all the current workers first. Hire any current TSA union person who wants to keep their job and leave the government and go to a private sector company and continue working in the airport. How great would that be if Donald Trump would do that? Because what do Democrats fear and hate the most? They hate privatization. They don't like it because privatization leads to self-reliance. They don't like that. And plus, they wouldn't be able to force a union on TSA if it was privatized. And they wouldn't be able to gog it down. They wouldn't be able to use the TSA workers as pawns and hold them hostage and so that they couldn't get paid and ruin their lives and make their lives hard just to try to win an election, which is what they're trying to do. If the Democrat Party could keep this locked down and shut down until November, they would do it because they think that since the media is on their side, that enough American people would blame the Republicans and they think they'd vote for the Democrats. And on this situation, I'm not so sure that's going to happen. I think people are starting to realize, wait a minute, I hear the Republicans want to open this and they keep trying to open it. And Donald Trump went above and beyond to pay these people, and the Democrats are trying to stop them from being paid. I mean, at some point, this is going to bite the Democrats in the butt. But you start talking about privatization and you start talking about defunding the Homeland Security Department, and so you can get rid of that department, and you're going to see the Democrats, they will knock each other down to see who can fund it first. Because they're never going to stand for a department going away. You name one department that the Democrat Party would be willing to let go. I mean, it's not going to happen. They do not like the idea of a shrinking government, and which is exactly what we need. So that's what I'd like to see tonight. So I sure hope that happens. All right, folks. Listen, 404-741-1230, 404-741-1230. You can be a part of the show. So when we get back, you come on, call in if you want, and I'm going to start talking about the 14th Amendment.
can stream Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station while you work at extra1063.com. Get the latest from the Morning Extra, The Kimmer Show, and Neil Boortz, and stay connected at the office. That's xtra1063.com.
Join Daniel Matalon, CEO of A Second Chance Bail Bonds, and co-host Tug Cowart as they bring together law enforcement, justice insiders, and voices from every part of the justice system, victims, advocates, and people who've turned their lives around. It's not PR, it's not fluff. It's an honest talk about what's working, what's broken, and how to build a better path forward, 1 second chance at a time. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. or listen to the podcast anywhere. Justice Unfiltered. Unfiltered, informed, and unbiased.
You hear bail bonds and you think one thing. Someone to get you out of a jam. But A Second Chance Bail Bonds is built differently. This family-run team, led by brothers Daniel and Ryan Matalon, believes everyone deserves a second chance. And they prove it every day through the A Second Chance Community Foundation. They support local nonprofits, partner with law enforcement, and stay active in community programs, food drives, and safety initiatives. Bottom line, they don't just work in the community, they're part of it. Learn more at a2cfoundation.org. That's a2cfoundation.org.
Of all the radio ads I've ever done, I only advertised one thing that I think saved my life. My CPAP machine, sleep apnea. And I found the best CPAP dealer out there ever, Roddy, at CPAPs, etc. in Alpharetta. CPAPsETC.com. Everything you need, all the supplies, shipped anywhere at a price that often beats insurance. CPAPsETC.com. Go take a peek now.
Hey, this is Lowe's with Terry from Alpharetta, who just purchased a new car with the Honest Car Guy, the new, fully transparent, honest way to buy your next vehicle. Terry, tell us about your experience.
I have a son serving in the military. He's active duty with limited time to look for a car. My son was looking for a used Hyundai Veloster, and I had heard about the Honest Car Guy on the radio, decided that might be a route to go, and we made a phone call over the weekend. He screen shared the information with us. We looked over the vehicle, and he took the reins from there, and they were able to walk us through the process of buying the car. We're very clear and transparent, and next thing we knew, we had a car in the driveway.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
Living with everyday pain is like having a voice that always says, no, you can't do that. No, you better sit this one out. It's no way to live. So if pain is affecting you, see how Relief Factor can help get you back to life on your terms. One where you say yes a lot more. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor's unique formula of natural ingredients does not just mask pain, it helps reduce or eliminate it for good. Whether it's your back, neck, joints, or muscles, Relief Factor can help you, as it has for so many others. So call 1-800-4-RELIEF and give Relief Factor's 3-week quick start a try. It's only $19.95, less than $1 a day to get your life back. Just go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. And see how you can say yes to more of everything you want.
Hey, it's Doug. We've all been watching Operation Epic Fury unfold. What's next in the war against Iran? President Trump will address the nation about that very thing tonight at 9. You can hear it exclusively here on Extra 106.3. Again, President Trump addressing the nation tonight at 9 on Extra 106.3.
2 for 1.
I already played that other one. My bad.
That's okay. I love it. 2 for 1 works for me. This is a good team. This is Pennywise, if you're wondering. And the song is Brohim. He's actually a good, if you listen to the lyrics, you'll see he's actually talking about a friend that he lost. Pretty good team. All right, so I got breaking news on the Victor Armandiaz show. So sometimes this just makes me laugh. It's like I have a sixth sense. So Just coming across the wires, Johnson and Thune announce plan. That's Senator Senator Thune and Speaker of the House Johnson announce a plan to end the DHS shutdown in the coming days. So here's what it looks like they're going to do. So Speaker Mike Johnson and Senator Majority Leader John Thune announced on Wednesday the Republican-controlled Congress is going to fully fund the Department of Homeland Security through both the appropriations process and, what did I mention 5 seconds ago, the reconciliation process. So it looks like they're finally going to, I think they should use it to defund it, but that's a whole other story.
So are they thinking about nuking the filibuster?
So I don't think so. This is a way around that, because if you use, so with reconciliation.
You think we should, at this point, do you think we should get rid of the filibuster?
So here's my problem with that. On the surface, I would love to.
It'll solve a lot of problems, but
yeah. But what's scary is the problems that come after it, because it's too to think that the Democrats aren't going to get reelected is not necessarily this year or in 2028.
Well, it always happens. Anytime a Republican wins, normally the Democrats take either the House or the Senate the following midterm. It's happened in the last.
Almost all elections.
All elections. So
yeah, the only there was the exception in 2006 was the last exception to that rule. And maybe 2010.
But again, our forefathers have separation of powers so that one party would not control all of the government.
Exactly, which is true, Flounder, 100% true. But my fear about nuking the filibuster is that at some point you're going to have a Democrat president. I would love to say there wouldn't be, but at some point there will be, because unfortunately the history of this country, the voter goes to sleep. The Republicans will usher in good times, the voter will go to sleep, forget about the bad times, and then they'll listen to some new crazy promise from the left, reelect the left, and then we go downhill, and then that's how Republicans come back to power. So, and if the filibuster goes away and Democrats, this group of Democrats, see, a few years ago, you had a couple of sane Democrats.
It's never been this divisive.
No, it hasn't.
Between the two parties.
It hasn't. So a few years ago, the Democrats actually tried to nuke it, and it was two Democrats that stopped it. It was...
so it's all talk.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, it's talk, but would every Democrat vote for it? They probably wouldn't.
The problem is, I don't think we have sensible Democrats left. And, every cycle we're losing the sensible Democrats and getting more of the AOCs and the
more
crazy ones, the more progressive ones. And so...
Well, that's the future of their party. If you look at the future of our party, you have your Marco Rubios, your J.D. Vances, that younger.
Yep.
The baby boomers are kind of moving on, and you're having the younger people step in. But with the left, it's all far progressive.
100%. And that's one thing a little bit later I'm going to talk about, Flounder, is the bench or the bullpen for the Republicans is a lot better than the Democrats. And exactly what you just said, because you look at the Republicans, we've got young, and we need that youthfulness to come up, and that somebody that's just got a lot of energy, and like Trump has, even though he's almost 80, but we do need that next generation without a doubt. And we've got J.D. Vance, we've got Marco Rubio, we've got Ron DeSantis, we've got Ted Cruz, we've got great people on our side. And who do the Democrats have? And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, but you're spot on, Flounder, because it's scary when you look at who's coming up on the Democrat side, because in the Democrat primaries, the most active people are the most fringe of the left, the wackiest on the left. They're the ones that are going to put AOC on that ticket at some point. At some point, we're going to have to deal with AOC, who thinks she's going to be president. It's crazy. And Crockett. Don't think Crockett's going to go away because she lost in Texas. She's not going anywhere. Ayanna Pressley's not going anywhere. Ilhan Omar, she thinks she is this country now. She thinks she owns this country now. She thinks this country somehow owes her. I mean, it's ridiculous. But yeah, those left progressives, and that's what scares me about the filibuster. Because if this group of Democrats get a hold of being able to have a nuked filibuster, they're going to stack the courts. Because they want to control. You got to understand the Democrats. They love the Supreme Court when they go against Trump. They hate the Supreme Court when it goes with Trump. In their eyes, if a Republican gets what they consider a good ruling, then they want to destroy the Supreme Court. And right now, the Supreme Court is a pretty good setup. And even with that crazy Ketanji Jackson my goodness, that's got to be the most unintelligent person to ever sit in the halls of the Supreme Court. I mean, it's just even. This is, and if you doubt me on this, even Kagan, who's a left-wing judge, and Sotomayor, who's a left-wing judge, they constantly are writing in a decision blasting Ketanji, their own cohort. So when you have the left-wing Kagan and left-wing Sotomayor, who are basically saying, Ketanji Jackson, you're an idiot. When that's their cohort. That's how bad Ketanji Jackson is. And so, but what the Democrats would do, they can't really control the Supreme Court right now. So they would, if there was no filibuster, they're going to stack the court. Then they're going to try to make Puerto Rico a state. They're going to try to make D.C. a state. And so they're going to instantly have 4 more senators. So the Democrats will immediately, without a filibuster, the Democrats are going to do everything they can do to make sure that we become a one-party system run by the Democrats. So that's what scares me. Now, on the other side, if we could get rid of the filibuster, and I knew the establishment Republicans would come on board and pass, say, a consumption tax. I mean, if they could make, if you were going to nuke the filibuster, you would have to get rid of the federal income tax system. You would have to completely drastically change the system, because then you can stop the Democrats in a whole lot of things. Because if we went to a consumption tax, and maybe tomorrow I will make this a point of discussion tomorrow, is what the difference would be if we did nuke the filibuster and we got rid of the income tax system and we replaced it with a consumption tax system. You would halt the Democrats could get power, but they wouldn't be able to destroy your lives, because they wouldn't be able to take your money at the point of a gun. They wouldn't know how much you made anymore. They wouldn't be able to look in the banks and get the banks to tell them what you're doing and how much you're depositing. They wouldn't know if you use cash or not. They wouldn't know any of these things, and that's what politicians hate. They want to know all those things. So I'll talk about the good tomorrow if we did do blew up the filibuster. But for what they're talking about right now is using reconciliation, and with reconciliation they only need 51 votes. That's how Obama passed, and the Democrats passed Obamacare, the Unaffordable Care Act. They used reconciliation, and it only took 51 votes, and it was all Democrats. Not one Republican voted for the Unaffordable Care Act. So this is what's going to happen now. It looks like they're going to use reconciliation. Now, here's the other thing. If you're going to use reconciliation to fund TSA and fund Homeland Security, then they need to put more tax cuts. They've got to, if you're going to, I mean, you got to do, the Democrats would never just do one thing when they do reconciliation. They went all out and have practically destroyed our healthcare system using reconciliation. So if the Republicans are going to use reconciliation, then they need to put more tax cuts, because here's the thing. You guys have heard me talk about tariffs. You know I don't like tariffs. Tariffs is the only thing that'll hold this economy back. Well, the counter to that, you can have 10% tariffs, which, like what Trump is, I think, is getting to. That would not be a problem if we lowered taxes, if we dropped everyone's taxes. If we're going to have this progressive tax system, drop the rates. And the corporate tax rate should be 0. They don't pay taxes anyway. Should be 0. You do that, coupled with funding the Homeland Security. Now we're talking. Do you realize the golden age that would usher in if they lowered tax rates? And I'm just saying, my goodness, folks, you want to win in November? Do that. Do that. All right, folks, we'll be back in just a few.
Morning Extra, every weekday morning from 6 to 10 on WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. Extra 106.3.
Countdowns underway. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. 4 hours from now, President Trump addresses the nation with an update on the operation and timetable in Iran. Earlier, posting that Iran's president was asking for a ceasefire, which Iran denies. Also suggesting the U.S. could pull out of NATO. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer.
This is not our war. We will not be drawn into the conflict.
But the UK is now trying to rally a coalition of countries to work on reopening the Strait of Hormuz, planning to hold a virtual summit. You can hear live coverage of President Trump's address tonight, beginning at 9 Eastern at foxnewsradio.com. Just over 1 hour from now, the first human trip to the moon in more than a half century is scheduled to lift off in Florida.
Mission specialist Christina Cook said that astronauts are the calmest on launch day. It seems ironic, but you consider all of the preparation, the years of preparation that they put in for this mission.
Fox's Jonathan Seri at the Kennedy Space Center. All three Americans on the Artemis II crew are veteran astronauts, joined by a fighter pilot who will be the first Canadian in deep space. Their 10-day mission will slingshot around the far side of the moon, scheduled to launch at 6:24 Eastern. That countdown does continue, but we're just getting word of a temporary hurdle, a glitch in the flight termination system, which they are working to address. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says House Republicans are caving with a new plan to go along with a Senate bill funding most of Homeland Security, though that bill does not include ICE reforms demanded by Democrats, putting immigration enforcement funding on a separate track. The House and Senate Republican leaders in a joint statement say they'll end a Democrat shutdown and fulfill the president's directive to fully fund DHS by putting in immigration enforcement on that separate track to get around a Senate filibuster rule. America is listening to Fox News.
Now, this 25th anniversary of 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation remains committed to honoring the heroes shaped by that day. Heroes like NYPD Detective Victor Vargas, a U.S. Air Force veteran who died from pancreatic cancer after serving in the World Trade Center recovery efforts. Tunnel to Towers honored Detective Vargas by paying off the family's mortgage. You can donate $11 a month, and you can amplify your impact with a car or land donation. Go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-809-7171. That's 800-809-7171.
Everything is out of place.
That's a good one, too. TSOL, if you're wondering. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. All you wonderful listeners across this grapefruited plain of ours. I am Victor Armandiaz in for the Kimmer. The Kimmer Show is on vacation. But you are listening to the Victor Armandiaz Show. Okay. I want to jump right in. And ladies and gentlemen, please, once again, make sure you get the Extra 106 app, Extra 106.3 app. Make sure you do that, folks, and make sure you follow me on social media. I would appreciate it. And again, if you want to be part of the show, 404-741-1230. 404-741-1230. And we'll see how many I can get to of your phone calls. I want to talk now. So, you're going to hear, and you're probably already hearing a lot about this 14th Amendment business. There is a case. It's in front of the Supreme Court. And basically, I think Trump, through executive order, wanted to end birthright citizenship for illegals. Folks, it's not, look, and again, I'm just going to be to the point, and I'm going to make this as clear as I can, as layman terms as I can. I'm not going to get to the minutia. I had a great discussion yesterday with the caller from New York, the lawyer from New York who was talking about this. I understand where Trump is coming from, and I understand the argument they have. But the problem is you're talking about, my goodness, years and years of precedents. You're looking at the 14th Amendment that. The sticking point is the subject of jurisdiction, that line, and I agree with what the Trump side is saying, but I see where it's going to go, and I understand why. Because if you just look at the history, if you really read the 14th Amendment and the way that it's been interpreted, it's kind of hard to reverse that. But that's not what's needed. That's not what's needed. So I have a feeling that when the verdict comes in, which will probably be sometime in June, I have a feeling the Supreme Court is not going to side there, because here's the thing. No matter what you think, a president of the United States, I don't care who it is. This is nothing against President Trump. You guys know I'm a supporter, but I'm also honest and real with you, and I'm unafraid to give you an honest analysis. It doesn't matter who the president is. It doesn't matter if it's a Democrat or if it's a Republican. It doesn't matter. The executive branch does not have the power to change the Constitution. So you can't just decree. And folks, we don't want this. We don't want a president. You don't want a Democrat to come along and have this kind of power. So I don't want a Republican or Democrat to be able to just snap their fingers. Now, if it were me and I wanted, and I'd love to be able to change the tax system with a snap of a finger, but you can't. So the Supreme Court is going to go against the idea that a president can write an executive order and change an amendment. You can't. It is very clear in the Constitution how to change an amendment. Now, here's the caveat. So I think they're going to go against Trump on that issue. They're going to say, no, you don't have the power as an executive branch, as the president of the United States, as the commander-in-chief. You don't have the power to just write a decree, call it an executive order, and change the 14th Amendment. They're going to say no to that. But I hope what the Supreme Court does is say, however, you can legislate restrictions because of the idea that China can create. Look, folks, China has an industry that's basically called baby tourism. The Chinese government will take women who are pregnant right up to 9 months, fly them to Guam or some United States territory, not necessarily to the lower 48, but they'll fly them to a territory of the United States, let them pop there. They get off the plane. They're in labor practically when they get off the plane. They touch the ground, spit the baby out, get back on the plane, go back to China, and they have an American citizen. And so that should not be allowed. So I hope that the Supreme Court will say, you don't have the power to change it. However, you do have the power to legislate. So Congress, get off your butts. Republicans, get off your butts. And you can put a restriction that says no longer can you create a business of getting pregnant and coming to this country, step off a plane or a territory of the United States, to step off the plane, have a baby, and instantly that kid be a citizen. So I would love to see the Supreme Court say that, because I do believe that the Congress has the power to legislate that kind of restriction. And they can also, I believe they have the power to say, if you are an illegal alien and you're coming here illegally with the goal to just spit out kids, you don't want to assimilate, you don't want to follow the rules, you don't want to follow the law, you don't want to be an asset to the United States, you just want to come over here and dump out a kid, well then that put a restriction that you can't just be an illegal, come across the border illegally, have a kid, and then be an instant citizen. Now, if you come on a workers program, if you come, you go through the system and you do what's right, like my father did and like my uncle did, well then, yeah, of course, I wouldn't be a citizen if it weren't for the 14th Amendment. So I understand greatly the significance of the 14th Amendment. And so you're not going to just be able to, like I said, the president can't just change it, but you could legislate restrictions. And there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, China, you can't have a business of getting pregnant women right to the point of labor, bringing them over to a United States territory, spit out the kid and be an instant citizen. No, and then go back to China. No, that should be restricted. And so hopefully the Supreme Court will say that. And the same thing for illegals. If you're going to break the law to get here, we can't just say, okay, you're a citizen, because what does that do? That's putting a carrot and incentivizing illegal immigration. And we should not incentivize illegal immigration. We should incentivize legal immigration. We should make people give them a reason to do what my dad did. Give them a reason to do what my uncle did. They waited in line. They did the right thing. They filled out a bunch of paperwork, and they had to do it year after year until they became a citizen or a legal resident. Before my dad was a citizen, he was a legal resident. So if you're a legal resident, then per the 14th Amendment is very clear, then yes, if you're here as a legal resident, whether it's by green card or by diplomat or by, for some, legally you're here and your domicile is in the United States, well then yes, if you have a kid, that kid is a United States citizen. I don't have a problem with that. But I do think, and I hope, that the Supreme Court will lay out the land and say, in fact, they could put in the ruling and put a stop to the Chinese thing. They could do that. They could put that in the ruling. They could say that the Chinese baby tourism business does not fall under the 14th Amendment. That can be stopped immediately. It'd be nice if they would do that. I don't know if they will, but it'd be nice if they would. But if they don't do that, they could at least say, here's our ruling. You don't have the power as the president to change the amendment, but Constitution can legislate restrictions, and that's exactly what they should do. That's an easy win. It's an easy win for Republicans. So I really hope that when this ruling comes down, that I hope Trump doesn't. I don't want him attacking the Supreme Court. You do not want to act like a Democrat. You guys have heard me say this before. I do not like it when Republicans act like Democrats. And just like when the tariff decision came out, I don't like it when Republicans attack the Supreme Court just because it doesn't go your way. Look, you got a decision the other day, 8-1. Which means two of the liberal, truly activist judges, they was such a clear-cut case that they went with the conservative majority. They went with the Constitution, and they 8-1. So how can you badmouth the Supreme Court just because of one decision when you're getting a whole bunch of decisions that go your way? Need I remind you that it was the Trump administration that got Roe versus Wade, that they got that decision overturned. So how can you... Because you don't like the tariff thing, and again, I don't know what it is about tariffs, but holy cow, does Trump have an ego for tariffs? I don't know what it is. I really don't. But I just hope that when the ruling comes out, if it doesn't go his way, I don't badmouth the Supreme Court. You put most of those people in there, so you need to take the position of, hey, look, the Supreme Court is a separate branch of government, and they have to interpret the Constitution, and we must put our faith in that they are truly interpreting the Constitution and not being activists. Now, we know the left-wingers are activists, but right now we've got 6 people. How many? Gosh, Flounder, what, like 4 were appointed by Trump? We've got a good, I think, interpretational type Constitution Supreme Court. So I think if we just sit back and go, okay, this is the decision, but they also open the door for legislation, because legislation, look, Congress is supposed to legislate, period. It's not Trump's job to pay TSA. It's the freaking legislator's job. So let's get back to that. All right, that's the positive spin I have. What is yours? 404-741-1230. We'll be right back.
The president has drawn a clear line. Law and order must come first, and surrendering to mob pressure just invites more chaos. As these complicated stories unfold, you need the most trusted local and national voices of Extra 106.3 to make sense of it all. And most importantly, how it affects your family and your community. Proud to be Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
I'm Patrick Brown, former Army Ranger in the United States Army. Like many service members, I had to make difficult choices when leaving the military, and the most challenging thing was finding purpose in a new phase of life. Housing, employment, education, way too many decisions and no idea where to start. That was until I met the Warrior Alliance. They made it simple. They listened and quickly connected me to the services I needed. And like a trusted friend, they even followed up to make sure I was squared away. Change a veteran's life today by donating at thewarrioralliance.org, helping warriors navigate to success after service.
Atlanta, it's Mark from the Safe House. The legacy of Joe Biden lives. His open border policy let millions of illegal criminals stream into our country. We continue to have customers visit the showroom and report that they have been victims of break-ins and lost their hard-earned and irreplaceable items. So don't be a victim. Drive by the Safe House showroom and see what real security looks like. Picture yourself placing your valuables in a Fort Knox safe. Now that's real protection for your priceless valuables. Drop by the showroom or go to AtlantaSafehouse.com.
Hey, it's Flounder. My wife and I have owned our home for just over a year, and for the past year, we've trusted Dobbs Heating and Air, a local small business that does it right. Right now, Dobbs is offering buy two, get one free on their club membership. 3 HVAC visits for the price of 2. That includes a 21-point inspection, priority scheduling, and savings on repairs and new equipment. Plans start at just $199 with membership starting at $17 a month. Service calls are only $85. Prevent breakdowns and keep your system running strong. Visit DobbsHVAC.com.
If you've received a notice from the IRS, do not ignore it. The IRS doesn't issue empty warnings. They will take action if you miss their deadlines. This is especially true if you own a business and you're behind on payroll taxes. The IRS can shut down your business, seize your accounts, even go after you personally. Now, trying to handle the IRS alone, a little bit risky, and could leave you in a much worse situation. You need professional support. So call Rush Tax Resolution at 877-554-RUSH. Rush Tax has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and is the only company I trust and recommend if you're facing IRS trouble. When you mention my name, Rush will provide a free IRS transcript investigation, a service that other firms typically charge about $500 for, often without even confirming that they can help you or not. Rush offers this upfront and for free, and they'll only take your case if they know they can help you, period. So don't wait or hope the problem disappears. Get a Rush tax attorney and protect yourself today. 877-554-RUSH. 877-554-7874. Or go to rushtaxresolution.com.
Are you paying too much in taxes? Most people are, and they don't even realize it. Hi, I'm David Nicholas, president of Nicholas Wealth Management. Every year, hardworking individuals and business owners send more money to the IRS than they legally have to. I hate to see it. Not because they did anything wrong, but because the tax code is complex. It's always changing, and it's full of opportunities most people never hear about. So here's the real question. Could you be paying less in taxes? With the right strategy, many people can. Through smarter planning, overlooked deductions, and better retirement and income decisions, you can win in retirement. That's why we're offering a complimentary tax analysis. No cost, no obligation, just a clear look at where you may be overpaying and what you can do about it. Stop guessing, get answers. Call Nicholas Wealth Management 678-990-8500, 678-990-8500, or visit nicholaswealth.com.
Nicholas Wealth Management is an independent financial services firm. This is for informational purposes only and is not specific investment advice.
Oh, one of the best lead singers ever. This is Bruce Dickinson, lead singer of Iron Maiden. Probably my favorite band ever. I just love them. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Victor Armandiaz Show. Your Mexican, not afraid to be American, filling in for the Kimmer, who's on a much, much, much well-deserved vacation. All right, so coming across the wires right now, the so-called president of Iran, the guy that the Republican Guard just the other day almost killed because they were mad because he said Iran has about 3 weeks left before their economy completely crashes, and they got mad at him for telling the truth. So they made him come out today, and he issued a letter, an open letter to the American people. What a joke. And you know what's sad? The Democrat Party and the media in this country are going to side with this guy. They're going to try to humanize him. They're going to try to make them feel, oh, you should feel sorry for him. And they're going to try to make this like it's some legitimate open letter and there's any truth to it. When these are the people that killed 30,000 people a few weeks ago just for protesting. These are the people that throw gay dudes off buildings and women. These are the dudes that stone women if they dare show their face. These are the people that do everything the Democrats say they hate. But they only hate in this country, apparently, because they don't hate it in that country. So it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. But this guy sends this open letter and says, basically, your American government's lying to you and blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? Democrats do lie. So maybe they're not far off. Oh, my goodness. It's such a joke. This will be fun. It'll be fun to see if Trump even acknowledges this letter tonight in his address to the nation, folks. This is going to be it's going to be fun tonight. It's going to be fun to watch. So, all right. I got something fun. I teased you guys for the last 2 days about this, and so we're gonna have this discussion now. So, Flounder mentioned earlier about who did the Democrats have when you look at so let's look past 2026. Let's look past that for tomorrow we'll talk about 2026, but let's look at 2028. Let's look at 2028. So what have the Democrats done? And if you've heard me in the past shows, which so many of you have, you know I often talk about not just how can you still be a Democrat with today's Democrat, but I like to talk directly to minorities because I'm a minority voter, and I like to speak to minorities who have been still fooled by the Democrat Party. You know, especially my minority black voter friends, you minority black voters out there, you guys, the Democrats are constantly telling you that they care about you because of your skin color. But yet, who was their nominee in 2020? The whitest, oldest dude they could find in Joe Biden. The guy they knew was not up for the job. They knew he was failing, already starting to show signs of going in the wrong direction health-wise. But they went with a dementia patient, Joe Biden, the whitest dude they could find. Cory Booker was on the stage, black guy. Kamala Harris was on the stage, black woman. I mean, my goodness, the Democrats are constantly telling you that they're for the quadriplegic, black, half Asian, one. I mean, every group box that's a victim box. That's what they tell you they're going to elevate. But when it comes down to it, who do they elevate? The whitest, oldest dude they can find in Joe Biden. And before that, they went and got the whitest, oldest woman they could find, Hillary Clinton. Before that, I mean, come on. And with the exception of Obama. And let me remind you, the Democrat Party did not want Barack Hussein Obama. They wanted Hillary. If you go back to 2008, let me remind you, Obama. Now, look, I may disagree with Obama's politics, but the dude was a great politician. Not great policy, but he was a great politician. The guy knew how to sell himself. Obama won the nomination of the Democrat Party on his own. The apparatus and the establishment Democrats did not want Barack Hussein Obama. They wanted Hillary Clinton. And the Democrats are still like this today. And to somewhat the Republicans are, but the Republicans got nuked by Trump, which was great. You guys don't understand what a good thing it was that Donald Trump was able to knock so many establishments off the list. Because if the Republicans had their way, if they had their way back in 2016, it would have been Jeb Bush. That's who they wanted. They wanted Jeb Bush or that I'm going to forget his name, the guy from Ohio that's basically a Democrat, called himself a Republican. And then there was Chris Christie, who called himself a Republican. Please, whatever, Chris Christie, you're not a Republican. But that's who the establishment Republicans, they really wanted Jeb Bush. They wanted to just keep going down the Bush road. And then if it wasn't going to be Bush, they wanted to go down that, I can't remember his name, but the dude from Ohio. And then they wanted to go with Chris Christie. That's the way the establishment was, and Donald Trump absolutely nuked it and blew that up, which is great because it sent the Republican Party on a different trajectory, which is what needed to happen. Now the Democrats, they're very much into who's next in line. That's why in 2008 they wanted Hillary. And Obama wasn't supposed to beat her. Folks, you can go back and you can look. The Clintons eviscerated Obama. Some of the things they said about Obama, if anybody else said it, they would have been branded a racist bigot. That's what the Clintons were doing, and that's what the Democrat machine. They did everything to try to squash Obama, but they couldn't do it because that guy really had some political talent, and he connected with people. And that's why Obama was able to push Hillary aside. They didn't want it. Trust me. They didn't look at him and go, oh, my goodness, let's elevate the black guy. No, they wanted to elevate the white woman. And Obama nuked that, kind of what Trump did to the Republican Party in 2016. But then as soon as they got Obama gone, as soon as Obama was done, they went right back to Hillary because she was the one that was in line. Obama was a blimp in what the Democrats saw as what was supposed to happen. So they went right back to Hillary, who was an awful candidate, thankfully, but they went right back to her. And then when she was done, they went to The whitest, oldest dude they can find, because that's what, hey, this is what we need. So now here we are going into 2028, and the Democrat Party is about to do it again. No matter that because see, here's the thing, AOC and the progressives, they're coming after power over the Democrat Party, and they're influencing way more than they should be. But the establishment, the Democrat establishment, is still being run by the old guard. They're hanging on for dear life, and it ain't going to last much longer. But the old guard is still hanging on. You've got Obama people hanging on behind the scenes. You've got the Biden people hanging on behind the scenes. You got the Pelosi people, and you got Schumer. These people, and Bernie Sanders. You've got these. They're struggling to hold on to the power of the Democrat Party, but the establishment still is under their control. And so this news, and look, this hasn't been reported, and you're going to have to trust me, ladies and gentlemen. Just trust me. Trust my sources on this, and I'm not going to tell you, but you can find it if you dig hard enough. You can find it. But the people behind the scenes that are still running this whole apparatus with the Democrat Party, the Democrat establishment, they were talking the past couple of weeks on who their nominee needs to be for 2028, and it ain't going to be Kamala. Now Kamala, she really thinks she thinks she's the front runner. She thinks she's going to get, and so it's going to be fun to watch her implode. Gavin Newsom, he thinks it's going to be him. Now here's the funny thing: the Democrat Party, the apparatus, the establishment, the behind the scenes people running the DNC, the Democrat National Committee, they are actually saying we cannot afford to go with a Kamala type. Or just go find some black person like Cory Booker, who also is probably going to run. No, they're not openly saying it yet, but this is going to come out, and if you dig hard enough, you can find it. They are saying we need a white. This is how messed up the Democrats are, and they act like it's something new for them. They're actively saying we've got to find a white, young, straight male. Everything the Democrats have said for the past few years that should be canceled and wiped off the face of the earth is a white, straight male of any masculinity. That's why the Democrats don't like sports. That's why they're trying to infiltrate sports. They don't like the idea of masculinity. Well, now they're saying, and trust me, folks, listen to this. I'm not making this up. You couldn't make this up if you tried. This is how dumb this party is, the Democrats are of today. But they're actually saying we have got to find a white, straight male. Everything they told you was the problem with this country. The number one oppressor. Now remember, the Democrats like to live in postmodernism type of world. They want a postmodernism Marxist type of world. And everything has to be decided by skin color. Every person has a degree of are you a victim or are you an oppressor? And the number one oppressor, this is the Democrats. This is what they've been saying for years. The number one oppressor is the white, straight male. And now they're behind the scenes saying, oh my gosh, we've got to find a straight, white male. So Buttigieg, he's another one. Buttigieg thinks that he's going to be the front runner. Buttigieg thinks he's going to get this nomination in 2028. Buttigieg, my friend, buddy, listen, you are not going to be the nominee because the black dedicated Democrat voters are not going to go for a white, how do I say this, Flounder? A white homosexual male. They're not going to go for that. So the Democrats are so Buttigieg, you're out. Sorry. You I hope you go back to breastfeeding your kids. But it isn't going to be Buttigieg. So it isn't going to be Kamala. And honestly, even if they were looking for a black female, it wouldn't be Kamala. It really wouldn't. They're done with her. She doesn't know it, but they're done with her. So she was not going to be it. Now, Gavin Newsom is somebody they would love to have. Gavin Newsom is a straight white male. Not really masculine, but he's trying to be. If you noticed, just watch what Gavin Newsom's doing. He has been campaigning for president since 2024. As soon as Kamala lost, Gavin Newsom said, all right, I'm in. Tag me, I'm in. So Gavin Newsom now is the guy, or wants to be the guy. But I don't know if he will be the guy, because he's done such a horrific job in California. He's got a lot of baggage, but he fits the white card and he fits the male card, and he can kind of act masculine, at least he's trying to, except when he's trying to put his legs behind his head. I don't know what that's about. But when you are faking it, which is, I'm sorry, he's a fake. He is going to try to fake it. People see through that. So it's probably not going to be him. So, all right, let's take this bottom of the hour break, and when we come back, I'll tell you who else it's not going to be when we come back.
The Morning Extra, Neil Bortz, and The Kimmer Show are all online for you anytime at thepodcastpark.com. Plus all of Extra's exclusive podcasts like Ben Burnett, Janelle King, and so much more. All at thepodcastpark.com. Presented by Associated Credit Union.
Okay, new year, new clean slate, getting your house looking great. Yeah, new tradition here with the Kimmer, your solution for those ugly, horrible, drafty, leaking windows. I've been talking about Peach State windows for a long time now. In fact, I first started work with Jeff and his lovely bride 20-something years ago. They've been friends of mine a long time. Family-owned business, which I love representing because they kind of do things extra that other companies don't have to worry about because it's just people doing something. But a family business, their name's on the door. And listen here now, I got a great deal for you from Jeff. About 8 premium, double-hung Energy Star replacement windows, fully installed for just $3,995. 8 windows installed for under $4,000. These babies are built for Georgia heat and storms and humidity. Jeff knows our Georgia homes. He also knows our construction codes and stuff like that, too, by the way. PeachStateWindows.com. Check out the details. PeachStateWindows.com. Here's the number, 770-485-8011. How about this? How about 0% financing for 12 months? Make the uglies go away. PeachStateWindows.com.
If you live in Georgia, you already see it. The cars are turning yellow. The pollen is here, and this year, with an earlier and warmer spring projected, it's hitting even sooner. But here's what matters most. It's not just what's outside. It's what your family is breathing inside. Your kids, your pets, you. Your HVAC system doesn't just control the temperature. It circulates the air throughout your entire home. And without proper filtration and purification, that air can carry pollen, dust, and allergens right through every room. Central specializes in whole home air purification systems, advanced filtration, humidity control, and high-efficiency carrier systems are designed to support healthier indoor air. When you combine air purification technology with dependable carrier performance, you're creating a cleaner, more comfortable environment for the people who matter most. Right now, you can receive up to $1,700 in rebates plus 60 months 0% financing on qualified systems, making it easier to protect your home before allergy season peaks. Call 770-GET-HEAT or go to centralheat.com today. Central Heating and Air, delivering carrier comfort for the world we share.
Hey there, it's Tara, owner and publisher of Our Town Monthly, where you'll find familiar faces, local voices, and community businesses like Grace Point School.
Thanks, Tara. I'm Liz Powell, head of school at Grace Point. We are a Christian school in Marietta that serves dyslexic learners in grades 1 through 8. Grace Point School is accredited by the Academy of Orton Gillingham Practitioners and Educators, as well as the Southern Association of Independent Schools. We are a full immersion program and remediate dyslexia.
As a partner and a parent, I can tell you firsthand, Grace Point is a game changer.
As you know, Tara, early intervention makes a difference. Our teachers celebrate the gifts and strengths of our students. We are currently accepting applications for the 26-27 school year. Come learn more about our small class sizes, individual attention, excellent teachers, and one-of-a-kind community.
If your child is a dyslexic learner, reach out to Grace Point today. And remember, our town is your town at Our Town Monthly.
Hey, this is John Flading. I'm the president and owner of ATL Turf Co. We are family-owned, operated, independent local company. We have over 15 years of artificial grass design, installation, and sales experience. From premium artificial lawns and backyards, custom putting greens, sports fields, hardscape, drainage. We do both residential and commercial. If you can dream it, we can build it. Just go to atlturfco.com to schedule an appointment.
Stream Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, Glenn Beck, Fox News, and even NASCAR on Sundays. Anywhere on the Extra 106.3 app. Download the app now and get 24/7 access to the live stream, the latest news, and everything you need to know about Atlanta's only conservative talk station. Download the Extra 106.3 app for Apple or Android and check out even more great original content at thepodcastpark.com.
I know I should sleep, but the voices in my head go. I know I should sleep, but the voices in my head
This is straight out of the DNC, folks.
I know I should sleep, but the voices in my head go.
They can't sleep. They've got Trump derangement syndrome. This song is so appropriate for the Democrat Party today and anybody else suffering from TDS. It's just beautiful. All right, folks. So one of the other issues that Gavin Newsom is going to have is and I don't mean this in a bad way, but it's going to be his wife. Now I don't know her. I'm sure she's a nice person. I mean, she's a pretty lady. I'm sure she's an awesome mom. Well, I don't know about an awesome mom, but maybe she tries. But I want you guys to hear this soundbite. This is why she's going to be a problem for Newsom, because if you listen to her, she says that her and Newsom, they're partners. They're co-whatever. So if he's governor, she's co-governor. If he's president, she's co-president. This is the way her frame of mind, that leftist frame of mind. So listen to this soundbite of what she said about the South.
I don't think, or I know for a fact that we don't get all of this history in our schools, and it's part of enlivening them, building their curiosity, expanding their hearts, their empathy, so that they themselves can be the change they wish to see in the world, and recognize that we have work to do and that we have healing to do, and so that they can be use their voices to stand up and speak out when they see pain and suffering and bullying and racism and misogyny around them. And
you want them to see it so that they know.
I do. I'm a truth seeker. They need to know the truth.
So let me set this up for you. You heard what she just said. So what the question was to her, we heard that you recently took your kids to Alabama and the South. I don't know where else she went, but she went to Alabama. I think it might have been Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia. And so they said, you recently took your children to Alabama and to the South. Why did you do that? And that was her answer. Because she wanted them to see racism. So in Gavin Newsom's wife's eyes, we here in the South are just a bunch of backwoods racist people. And trust me, I used to work in Manhattan and New York. I've spent time in California. They do believe the left people, the leftists, and what they're taught by leftist morons, they're basically taught that the South is nothing but a bunch of backwoods. I mean, I don't know how they haven't seen pictures of Atlanta. City of Atlanta? I mean, come on. Really? I mean, give me a break. But this is their view. And she actually sat there with a straight face and said she brought her kids to Alabama and to the South so they could see racism. I mean, that's what she said. So that's going to be an issue for Newsom right there. So that's why I'm not so sure it's going to be Newsom. A month or two ago, I would have told you Gavin Newsom is going to be the Democrat nominee, but I'm not so sure now. I do think he's going to be a front runner. I think he's the front runner right now. But when more information comes out and when people outside of California are reminded of how he's destroyed California, listen. Gavin Newsom is a slick guy. He's another Clinton type. He's a smooth-talking spinster. He can spin anything. But what he can't spin is, and I know he'll try, is the fact that California as a state is losing more people than any state in the union. So California has more people voting with their feet, which means they're leaving. They're leaving California. They're going to Nevada. They're going to Georgia. They're going to Tennessee. They're going to Texas. They're going to red states. They're going to where Gavin Newsom's wife said is a bunch of racist places. But yet the people by the millions are leaving California. Businesses are leaving California. You've got gas companies leaving California. You've got restaurants leaving California. You've got these people that can't survive in California because of what Gavin Newsom and the Democrats have done to them. And so I don't know how he spins his way out of that. So if he were to get the nomination, and all the Republicans are going to have an easy time just running ads showing, well, this is what he did to California. Do you want him to do that to the rest of the country? So that's why I don't think it's going to be him. Now, the guy that would be a formidable Democrat candidate, I mean, he would be a hard person to beat, would be the governor of Pennsylvania, Shapiro. Now, it ain't going to be Shapiro. There is no way the Democrat Party is going. Now, he's a white male, and he's straight, for all I know, and he could pass the masculinity test maybe. But he can't pass the I'm not a Jew test. And on the Democrat side right now, that Democrat Party has become, it's full of anti-Semitic people. I'm just sorry. It's the Democrat Party right now is not a friend to the Jewish people. And there's no way that they're going to they wouldn't let Shapiro be Kamala's vice president. Do you think they're going to let him be the nominee? And again, he would probably, listen, I'm not afraid to tell you, he'd probably be the best candidate, the most formidable candidate, other than maybe Fetterman. Maybe, I mean, it's scary to think. And people used to joke when Fetterman ran for Senate and he was having trouble speaking. People were joking like, oh man, they're going to make him the president nominee. Well, I know we all joked about it, but Fetterman is a different person today. And that guy could pass the white male straight test, masculinity too. That maybe that would be their best way to go, but they're not going to go with him. They don't like him because he speaks his mind, and he's not with them on shutting the government down. He's not with them on going against what the military is doing in Iran. So he's out. Shapiro is Jewish, so he's out. So who's left? Who are the Democrats? I mean, so that's why 2028 is going to be, my goodness, I couldn't ask for a better time to be part of Extra 106.3, to be part of Talk Radio, because watching the Democrats try to pick a nominee, because listen, I mean, my goodness, do you think it's possible that they could go older than Joe Biden and go with Bernie Sanders? That's possible. I wouldn't be surprised. Look at what Bernie Sanders is doing. He's hitching his wagon to AOC. Now imagine if Bernie Sanders were to make another run at it and put AOC next to him and say, this is going to be my VP. So it's going to be in with the old, out with the old. I'll only do one term, and AOC is going to take over. I'm going to teach her. Bernie Sanders will teach her to be an oligarch. He's already flying her around on private jets. He's already showed her how to make money being in the Congress. Bernie Sanders has never had a real job in his life. Bernie Sanders never had a private sector job. Bernie Sanders never had to sign somebody else's paycheck. Nobody's had to depend on Bernie Sanders to create jobs.
I have time with me.
So you got to understand, Bernie Sanders has made a living, and he is a millionaire, multimillionaire, by being in a so-called servant of the people. So how does that happen? And now AOC, who was a bartender, nothing against them, I bartended through college, but AOC went from barely affording rent to now go look up how much AOC's worth after she's been in Congress for a few years. How does that happen? So I could see the Democrat Party. I could see Bernie Sanders jumping in and running, and I don't know if the Democrats could stop him this time. You know, they stopped him before. I don't know if they could stop him again. And that's why I said, you know, I noticed this months ago when Bernie Sanders started flying around with AOC and started doing these stupid oligarch. Bernie Sanders is the definition of an oligarch, pretty much. But he's out there because people are too dumb to know what an oligarch is. Just like these idiot No King protesters who were saying, well, we don't want an authoritarian. Well, who's an authoritarian? Do you even know what an authoritarian is? I mean, these people, they don't even know what a king is if they think that Donald Trump's a king. I mean, it's laughable. So Bernie Sanders running around hitching his wagon to AOC made me think, Bernie Sanders is up to something. Bernie Sanders knows that the Democrats are not going to nominate Kamala. They didn't nominate Kamala in 2024. She was anointed. So, and then what a battle that was behind the scenes. It ticked off Obama. It ticked off Pelosi. It ticked a lot of them off. They didn't want Kamala. Joe Biden is the one that kind of made that happen. So it's hilarious. So it's not going to be her. It's not going to be Buttigieg. So Bernie Sanders, I think, is totally looking and going, and you know who else? Mark my words, folks. You can say you heard it here first. Mark my words. Watch Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton is, from what I can see, listen, folks, I look at actions, not words. Hillary Clinton is already making moves that tells me she is eyeing running for president again. And the more she looks and sees how discombobulated the Democrat Party is, and the more she looks and sees, especially now that they're out there behind the scenes going, we need a white male, well, that's not going to sit well with Hillary. It's not going to sit well with her. She knows it's not going to be Kamala. She knows it can't be Buttigieg. She knows Newsom has a lot of baggage, and she knows Shapiro has the cardinal sin of being Jewish. So she's looking at this going, hey, I got an avenue here. So watch what Hillary Clinton does. Watch what Bernie Sanders does as well. Because he may be 120 years old, but the guy's still with it. He's still got he's got full capacity of he may be slow, but he's still all there. And the way he's hitching his wagon to AOC, you see, folks, if Bernie Sanders ran for president and said AOC's coming with him, AOC's going to get people just because there's just so many dumb voters out there. But they're going to look at her and go, "Wow, that's a good-looking girl right there. We're gonna support that ticket." And then you got a lot of Bernie bros out there that are just they love socialism. They think socialism is the answer. And they buy and eat everything that Bernie Sanders regurgitates. So keep your eye on that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, and you can say you heard it here first. So, all right, let's catch this break. When we come back, folks, we're gonna I don't know. We'll talk about something.
Get the latest breaking news and insight from the biggest conservative voices in the South when you follow Extra 106.3 across all your social media platforms. Find us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and YouTube at Extra 106.3.
April fun continues as the Braves roll into the second homestand of the season, April 10th through the 12th, when the Cleveland Guardians come to town. The weekend is packed full of fun, including 80s night on Friday the 10th. Fans can look forward to an 80s prom and arcade games at the Blue Moon Beer Garden, live music from the 80s, and much more. Plus, the first 15,000 fans will receive a Dale Murphy replica jersey presented by Truist. Visit Braves.com/promos to see all the details. The homestand continues with the Miami Marlins April 13th through the 15th. The series is a part of the Braves Spring Value Games, where you can get $10 tickets and parking, deals on ballpark favorites like $2.50 hot dogs and $3.99 Miller High Lifes. Plus, big deals on merchandise at the Braves Clubhouse store. Bring your crew to experience unbeatable value. Find the details at Braves.com/value. Atlanta Braves Baseball. We are Braves Country.
Why does Progressive help support truckers? Because truckers unite the world. Truckers unite whistles and lifeguards. Truckers unite fitness devices with people who don't exercise. Truckers unite your aunt with those live, laugh, love signs. But truckers can't do any of this if they're not on the road. That's why Progressive helps safe truckers save an average of $6,181 when they elect to share their ELD data with us. Get a quote at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. 2025 National Average Safe Driver Enrollment Discount Savings for new Progressive customers exclude mandatory program participants. Not available in all states. Driving data could increase or decrease premiums at renewal.
Hey, this is Los with David from Atlanta, who just purchased his new car with the Honest Car Guy, the new, fully transparent way to buy your next vehicle. David, tell us about your experience.
I had been looking for a vehicle for a couple months. The car buying process was a little challenging at first for me. I had some credit issues in the past, and I just happened to hear a familiar voice on the radio, and it happened to be on the Honest Car Guy ad. I got in touch with Tom. Within 2, maybe 3 days, I had a vehicle being shipped here from Orlando, Florida. I have already recommended him to family members, several friends, service. And I'll purchase a car from Tom when I make my next purchase for sure.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
Saxon, in case you're wondering. That's a great tune, Princess of the Night. What a great tune. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's Victor Armandiaz of the Victor Armandiaz Show. If you want to find more about me, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram and the Extra 103 website, Podcast Park, Spotify, Apple, all over the place. Please spread the word, folks. If you like what you hear, please spread the word. And not just for my show, the Kimmer Show, which I'm filling in for now, the Morning Extra with Tug and Lowe's. And folks, listen, we love what we do here. I cannot thank the Extra 106.3 family enough for welcoming me here and for the Victor Armandiaz to be a part of this show now. A part of the station now is fantastic. And I cannot tell, ladies and gentlemen, I can't tell you how much fun it is to be. This whole battery place with the Brave Stadium is just amazing, and to be part of Extra, which is also home of 680 The Fan. Goodness gracious! And on FM, what is it, Flounder? 97. The FM for 680 The Fan? The FM dial?
93.7.
93.7. All the sports you want to know, folks, just, you can tune in there too. And you can tune in and listen to the Braves games. In fact, the Braves won today. They had an afternoon game today, and they won, I believe, 5-1 or something like that. So,
that's correct.
Excellent. So another win for the Braves. In fact, Flounder, do you have the chop? We should all do the chop. It wasn't that long ago when they tried to, I think it was the left, as usual, trying to stop the chop. Yes. So tomorrow starts 4-game series with the Arizona Diamondbacks. So everybody get your chops ready, because let's take it to Arizona. But what a great win today. I believe we split the series with the A's. That's okay. I'll take it. We've got a winning record right now. So way to go, Atlanta Braves. So they're off to Arizona. So let's all do the chop for tomorrow and make sure that they were with them. Check them out on whatever news station they're on now. I know we went over that last Friday with the Kimmer and with Flounder.
Braves Vision.
That's it. Braves Vision. So just keep up with the fakes. It's awesome. And there's lots of other stuff too. This Saturday is Supercross. So if you're a motorcycle fan, if you've ever wanted to see what it's like for motocross, guys that will jump 20 feet in the air. We're talking triples. They're jumping so far. We call them triples. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you a little something about your humble host. I've actually raced in Atlanta, I've raced in Nashville, and I raced in Tampa. Now, I did not race with the professionals. I raced on the track, but I didn't race with those guys because I am not that good. But I have raced in amateur races, ladies and gentlemen, and maybe I'll send one of those pictures in. But I raced in Atlanta, I raced in Nashville, I raced in Tampa, and I don't remember where else. But it's a lot of fun. So if you wanted to see how I have fun in my downtime, just Saturday night on Peacock, it's the Supercross. Just look up Supercross, and it's going to be an awesome race, folks. Listen, they truck in dirt. They go into a stadium and they make this dirt track with a bunch of jumps, and it's just really, really neat to see these guys, how they can hurl these bikes through the air, and it's fun to watch. So you'll get to see a lot of good racing, and I promise, if you've never watched it and you watch it for the first time, you're going to be a fan. You'll be a fan. So you've got baseball, you've got Supercross, you've got I'm sure maybe Atlanta Hawks will go out and pick up the Jaden guy. I hope somebody picks him up. It's ridiculous what Chicago did to him. So maybe somebody will go pick him up, and he can add to their team. You've got World Cup qualifying game, not qualifying, but friendlies going on, so you can catch soccer. Atlanta United is back in action this weekend, so make sure you catch Atlanta United. Support this team. My friends here in Georgia, please, Atlanta United needs your support. They're getting better every week. They're getting better and better. If you like watching Messi, Miami is in action this weekend. I can't help but watch them because I love Messi. He's one of the greatest soccer players ever. So fun to watch them. So lots of fun stuff to do. Now this is Holy Week, so you will have Easter this weekend. So I'm sure lots of you will be doing stuff for Easter. So lots of fun stuff. Get outside. I know the weather's great now. I don't know how great it's going to be this weekend. I hope it'll be good. But lots of cool, fun stuff to do. So it's not always about politics, folks. Not always about politics. But anyway, so when we look at 2028, now when you look at the Republican side, they're in much better shape, folks. And this is what I mean when I tell you, I don't mean this in a bad way when I say Trump torpedoed the Republican Party. I am glad he did. When 2016 rolled around, 2015, my initial support was with Ted Cruz. But when I was in the gym in downtown Atlanta at Peachtree Center working out during the whatever it was, I don't know, it was like 12 o'clock or sometime, when Donald Trump came down the escalator. And when he gave his speech, I picked up my phone and I called some friends of mine and I said, that dude is probably going to be the nominee. And from that moment on, I started switching my support from Cruz to Trump. I supported, and again, I supported Cruz. I love Ted Cruz. If it hadn't been for Trump, I would have been all on for Ted Cruz. And I think Ted Cruz would have gotten it had it not been for Trump. But the more Trump got closer to the nomination, and the more I heard Trump speak, the more I said, "Man, this is what we need. We need an outsider. We need a business guy." And just like I was, the minute Herman Cain was in the race before, in 2012, I believe it was 2012. The minute Herman Cain jumped in that race, I was with Herman Cain. There was no ambiguity. I didn't have to think about it. Herman Cain was a businessman, and boy, I jumped on the Herman Cain train as fast as I could. So Herman Cain would have been a great president. He was the original Trump, but he didn't. They took him out. So then Trump comes along. They couldn't take him out because you know the difference. Herman Cain didn't have the money that Trump had, and Trump was able to just say, "Yeah, whatever, people. I'm gonna get this nomination," and he did. But the more I saw him, the more I supported him. And because the Republican Party needed to be blown up, it really did. They wanted, like I said, they wanted to go with Jeb Bush. They wanted to go. They would have done everything they could to nuke Ted Cruz because they wanted their establishment candidate, and I didn't want to go down that road. So now, thanks to Trump, look what we're looking at for 2028. We've got J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance, I mean, this guy's a sharp dude. In case you haven't noticed, I think J.D. is being really well prepped by Donald Trump to continue the MAGA movement, if you want to call it, putting America first. I think J.D. is a good candidate. Marco Rubio, ladies and gentlemen, Marco Rubio is going to be president one day. It may not be 2028, but he's going to be, and who knows, he might be. I right now, if you ask me who I support more, JD or Rubio, I might tip my hat a little bit more towards Rubio. I really like what I'm seeing from Rubio. Right now, I think Rubio is the top guy in the Trump administration. The guy is fantastic, and he's come a long way from when he first got elected as a Tea Party senator, and then he got corrupted by Lindsey Graham and the Gang of Eight or the Gang of Seven, and then after that he learned his lesson, and ever since then Rubio's been going back to his Tea Party roots, and now I think Rubio would be a great leader and a great choice. Let's put it that way. So we have J.D. Vance, we have Marco Rubio, and then another guy that if he gets in, I'd have a hard time not supporting is Ron DeSantis. Now, I will full disclosure, I supported Ron DeSantis in 2023 or 24 when they were running, when Trump was running again. I was on the air saying, hey, I'm okay with Trump and I'm okay with DeSantis. Either one of those guys works for me, and I was hoping they would team up. So we've got Ron DeSantis. I mean, look at the difference when you look at the Democrat side. You've got Buttigieg, Newsom, AOC, Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton. Who wants any of those people? Kamala Harris, word salad. Who wants that? But on the Republican side, you've got Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance. You've got Ron DeSantis, Ted Cruz, who's probably going to run again. And you know who I would love to see? Either the head of the ticket or as the VP? I'd like to see Sarah Huckabee Sanders out of Arizona. Arkansas. She's fantastic. So look at the Republican side, and it's so different than looking at the Democrat side. We are fully stocked. We have the A class sitting on the bench or in the bullpen, if you want to use a baseball term. But we are stacked on the Republican side, and we're looking good. And so if Trump gets this next few months right and we win in November, then 2028 is going to be a shoe-in for the next Republican president. And my goodness, folks, we could have a good 8, 12 years, maybe more, of pro-growth and small government. That'd be great. All right, folks, we'll see you tomorrow. Braves, go Braves.
The Kimmer Show is live on your ride home on WFOM and W292 EV Marietta on Dickey Broadcasting Station, Extra 1063.
Update on Operation Epic Fury. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. President Trump set to address the nation about 3 hours from now on the U.S.-Israel action against the Iranian regime.